difference is this is a gay young man, then you do not like this young man or you don't like the fact that he's gay. So just say that so that we can get to why you feel that way and perhaps we can move on and stop having this
okay,
battle.
so I want to interject for just 1 second.
Right, but let me say this before I forget what I'm saying when she said that. The thing about it is, this is a openly gay young man that came out and said that he's gay.
Yes.
And he has taken the music industry by storm.
Yes.
He is as big as Beyonce. He is as big as Cardi B. He is as big as Megan Thee Stallion. And the people that hate men, that like men, don't like to see these gay men become that successful.
Wow.
Okay, so
Wow.
to be perfectly honest, I don't really know much about Lil Nas X. Don't really care about Lil Nas X. Don't really care about any of this. But as most things, I do have an opinion about it. As far as people not liking men sleeping with men, if you ain't a man that's looking forward to sleeping with a man, then it really shouldn't matter to you one way or another. You know, I'm not walking around through my daily life looking for anybody's acceptance or approval of who or what I choose to do. And anybody who is, wake up, it's not needed. In regards to Lil Nas X and this whole pregnancy photo shoot and everything, I think it's brilliant. You know, again, I don't really know any of his songs, don't really care, but the marketing behind this, industry baby, and he's saying, I'm pregnant, about to give birth to his album, it's brilliant. If nothing else, everybody, everywhere is talking about Lil Nas X. Even me, who can't name one Lil Nas X song.
And the people who don't like
brilliant are talking about him. So we don't really know if his music is good, if he's talented or not, because he's staying in the news just based on what he's doing. I think it's brilliant.
I think it's the hypocrisy.
I think it's brilliant.
It's the hypocrisy of people that bothers me.
But that's
it's
where we are now
hypocrisy
anyway.
Of it all.
That's what, to me, that's where we are anyway. And people are always looking for something to dislike, something to have a problem with, something to be offended by, something to be able to voice their opinion on, when most people just need to shut up
and mind their own business. Because I think too, with this young man and Lil Bootsy, who has so much to say about it, which this was the real part that just was the rub for me. I'm like, he's one of the main ones talking about children.
Yeah.
But when I researched him, this is a grown man who got a grown woman, and he's speaking of how he got this grown woman to service his underage child
and nephew
sexually.
And
but
nephew.
you're talking about the kids. So this is hypocrisy at its best.
Hypocrisy.
So what are you talking about?
But that's them looking at what they're doing is the norm.
But it's not the norm.
What we're doing is perverted.
Right. And it's also them trying to use children in this to find an area where people will be outraged about. Because, you know, what example is this setting for the children? Well, both of my parents are straight. So if it was just based on what you see, then I would have been straight. Because my mother's straight and my father's straight, I'm still gay. So that theory is just out the window right there. You know.
And I said in my post yesterday, I said, this is my opinion about the Lil Nas X thing. I said, everybody always talking about the children. When it comes to the gay men, you know, everybody wants to talk about, well, this is corrupting our children. I said, Beyonce, Sierra, Little Kim, and so many other female artists, Janet Jackson, Madonna, Lady Gaga, they all dressed up like men to promote songs and albums and videos. Y'all didn't say they was trying to convert these little children into lesbians. So why is it now that Lil Nas X has a baby bump that he's being perverted and he's coming after the children? I said, y'all always talk about the children. Let's talk about the children. I don't see nobody outraged that CDC has not come up with a vaccination for the kids that are under 12. I don't see nobody tearing down no doors to go and adopt all these children, you know, that are up for adoption, and adoption is always at an all-time low. I don't see nobody knocking down no doors to go and fight these schools for allowing these kids to come back in these schools knowing that the Delta variant is up and these schools are not safe. I don't see y'all outraged about the kids issue, the issues that really deal with the kids. But when it comes to somebody else, you know, and y'all want to bring up the kids. And then my girlfriend, Harmonica Sunbeam, she said that, and then she goes through the same hell in New York because she does Drag Queen Story Hour. And she said, then she go up here, and then people have the nerve to be coming out here protesting about this is corrupting the kids. She said, and I just turn around and I tell them, these kids that are being escorted to come to my drag queen story hour, they're being escorted in here by their parents. So apparently their parents don't have an issue with a drag queen reading them a story. So the kids that you out here protesting for, they're not here. Why don't you go find them and you protest for those kids? It's just like people, the bottom line is, and then with all of my stuff that I posted on my page, there was this young lady, she came on here and she said, she was talking about Lil Nas X, this and that, and this is her. And he said, and she, I don't think they meant the kids. And I said, yes, the people, the argument that they made was because they are going after our kids. I said, now you sounded like the people who support Donald Trump. Now, that's not what he said. That's not what he meant, but that's what he said. And then her and some more people, they went back and forth on my page. So I just told her, I said, baby, I said, name me one openly gay person that's in the music industry right now that's doing what Lil Nas X is doing.
You can't.
She said.
You can't.
So then somebody else came and they was on my page and she was talking about this is so ugly. And you know, I went to her page and the old me would have screenshotted one of her pictures and put in my comment section, if what he's doing with this belly bump is ugly, what is this? A picture of her when she looked pregnant and she's not pregnant. And then the other young lady that was making the comments talking about, you know, going back and forth with people on my page, I went to her page and her page is private. So you want to give opinion about what other people put on their page, but your stuff is private.
Right.
And then later on in her comment, she came back and she said, they had a whole conversation about pretending to be something that you're not. So I said, there it is. I said, so she feels like we are men pretending to be women, and we're not. So people have issue with gay men.
No, we are people that are living our authentic selves, whatever that may be.
But the thing is, people that are on this, you know, thing about the children, and we're going after the children and all that, they're hiding behind their truth. And the conversation that they will not have is the conversation that they need to have is, I don't like you and your lifestyle and what you're doing.
And I don't care.
But here's the thing.
Why do we care?
We don't.
Right.
But they're just cowards. They're so coward. You're such a coward, you can't even say that.
Well, that would be a wasted conversation with me, because and who are you?
But I also want to understand, why is it so prevalent that people don't like your lifestyle or what you're doing when it's not what you do has nothing to do with me. How you live, who you love, has nothing to do with me. So I don't understand why people don't like gay lifestyles when you don't live a gay lifestyle.
It's just
that is,
and I don't really give it much thought. And that's the honest truth, but I don't really have a lot to say on this because I don't really even think about it.
That bothers me. And it's those people that talk the most. And I'm like, if you would sit down and figure out, why do I not like?
Well, I think Charles Blow made a very good comment on his post that he had a few days ago when he said that, you know, when you are spending all this time and energy talking about something that you don't like, it makes me look at you.
Me too.
Did I wake up something in you that maybe you are struggling with?
Yes.
And the mere sight of me makes you go in constant battle with yourself.
Yes.
And you wanting to be who you really are, but you are afraid to, embarrassed to, ashamed of, so you can't help but act out against it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I think.
The other point, and I forgot who it was that made the point, he said, you don't see gay people spending their time telling you, oh, you having that straight sex. That's nasty. That's ooh, I don't like that. You don't see us coming in your spaces and saying, well, I don't think that's normal that you do. We don't do that.
Or that you have 5 children by 5 different men.
Hello, somebody. Or that you're a deadbeat dad.
Or
any of those.
Or that you're calling your women bitches and hoes.
Right.
Any of those.
We don't get up in your business, but they spend so much time in our world, studying our world. You're spending a lot of time studying what's going on over here. And ain't nobody invited you. Ain't nobody called you. We over here minding our own black moisturized gay business.
Right.
See how I did that?
Right.
I like that too.
And nobody ever invited you. So what is the concern?
Flip side, we are talented, we are cute, we are fashionable. So they will be trying to pay attention to what we're doing. Right. So they will be paying attention. So you're welcome.
I also told them, I said, y'all always talking about the children. Every time you have a controversy with the gay community, it's always the children.
But you know, they
I
always
said, but then you all care so much about the children, and a lot of these gay families are raising your
The
children
Yes.
because you kicked them out.
Yes.
You didn't want a
Yes.
gay son. You didn't want a gay daughter.
Yes.
So how can you be out here you marching and screaming and hollering for somebody else's children, and you don't even care about your own damn
Yeah,
children?
and that's really true because
Very
Eric,
true.
a good friend of mine who's a school teacher, and they talk all the time about how they can't get the parents to be, a part of the kids' schooling, come up to the school when it's time for meetings, parent-teacher conferences, all of the above. So if you're that concerned with the children, then be a parent. Teach your children.
But I
spend time with
don't
your
like that
children.
argument because when you, saying that is giving validation to what they're saying. If you don't want your kids to be gay, then teach your children.
Oh no, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying teach because you can't teach somebody to not be
Be
what they
gay,
are.
yeah.
You're gonna be whatever.
You
I'm
are.
saying teach your children how to be a responsible, accountable adult.
Okay.
Whatever that adult may be, gay, straight, or whatever. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying.
But I think the one thing that the black gay community needs to learn is to look at Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union.
What a wonderful example.
Because the
they
thing
are.
about it is, in the black community, we all grew up in the black community. I know what we're taught in the black community is to suppress who we are. And when we get of age, that's when we get comfortable where we're just, fine with who we are. And it's just like, this is me, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. But growing up, you hear so many negative things from your family.
Well, I would
and
say
the
that
other people in the community
right.
about gay things about gay people. So you suppress that. And so then it's just like with the white people, John and Sally, they go to them, Mom, I'm gay, and they want to play with dolls. They let them play with dolls and all that stuff, so they end up gay and all that. So then it's just
No,
like,
that's not why they end up gay.
Hold on. They're gay. But then the black people say, these children are young and they don't know who they are. What Dwayne Wade them, they told y'all. They said this child came to us, and this child told us who he was, and he said he was not a he. He is a she. And so they listened to that child and they let that child live out her life. So now a lot of people saying, she too young, she don't know what. It's just like, you just can't win with black people.
We need to, as black people, be better about educating ourselves, and we need to stop being so judgmental. And I mean, we're prideful in some kind of ways because of this is how it's supposed to be, and if it doesn't look like what we think it's supposed to look like, then there's a problem. Gabrielle Union and her husband, you can tell that they've traveled the world, they're smart, they're educated, and they're open-minded. A lot of our people, particularly of a certain generation, are just not going to do that. They don't have the wherewithal to do it. So if you're playing with a doll, or if you're crying and I pop you and I say, boys don't cry. Stop crying. Stop playing with that doll. You look like that S word I don't like. S-I-S-S-Y, I don't like that word. So those things, we have got to be better at it, because when you really look at it, I believe black love comes with conditions.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
It's conditional.
Absolutely.
And we've got to stop being conditional lovers.
Yes, we do.
And love each other for who and however we come to the plate.
Yeah.
And
But there's so many layers to, I think, black love being conditional, and I don't know, again, I'm not a historian, but I like to look at things at the very basic, most normal, simplest of forms. But if you think about even when in slavery, lighter skin was better. The mixed slaves were in the house. So that even in a lot of ways started these conditions.
Certainly.
If you look like this, then we treat you like this. If you look like this, we treat you like that. If you act like this, if you speak like this, we have those conditions, and society has put them on us in most cases, but we have perpetuated them within our own community and uplifted them.
But when do we
kept them
stop?
going.
When do we
we're
stop?
not.
When you live in a society where those are the dictates, where those are the social norms, where those are the boxes that you check off and you should fit in, it's hard to adapt or move away from what society deems as normal.
Right.
So when you step out of that box and you try to be different, you try to be open-minded, you try to be a Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because that's not how it should be done. There was this guy that I heard on Twitter. I want to try to play it on right now. He's a gay man, but his assertion of what living as a gay black man was just phenomenal. So I'm gonna try to play this and see. It might have some expletives on it, but it's really, really good. So let me see it.
Oh, well, hi.
popping. Stop signs.
Those of us who trying to straight raise our kids, literally, quote unquote, what he said, straight raise, or basically raise our kids up straight. What that man don't know, bro, is that you can't raise nobody up straight. They already what they are before you trying to implement whatever you trying to implement, bro. If that was the case, Boosie, I wouldn't be gay here talking me out of, hey, you know how straight my motherfucking mama raised me? You know how straight my pops tried to raise me? The little time he was there? You know how straight my big brothers tried to make sure I came out? You know how hard and gangster people tried to make sure I came out? Growing up, you hear what I'm saying, bro? Don't none of that matter. I grew up in the hood, G, in the slums, dirt, period. I'm still in it. I still ain't even living good yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? I grew up gay, regardless of how any of my surroundings or what you know what I'm saying? What I grew up around tried to do to me. I grew up gay, bro. Boosie, anybody else who confused on that, you can't raise up no kids straight. Raise them to be strong. You try to say you raise strong black men by not raising them gay, bro. Most of us gay people are stronger, even the feminine ones, bro.
Yes.
Are stronger than any one of you heterosexual men could ever be.
Yes.
You never had to wake up at your sleep one day and know that you were fucking living contradiction.
Right.
And know that you literally was born in a way that you were not okay with, that you were not accepted, and they had to walk through that and live it. And then listen to niggas like you try to judge you, man, come on, bro. Then you talking about, bro, your kids watching TV, but it's okay for them to watch drug dealers, killers, you know what I'm saying? Curl on curl shit, that part of the gay shit is okay. All of that's okay, you know what I'm saying? But you don't want to see us being us on TV. I'm gonna kill that noise.
A part of it, I think, too, is, and I'll speak from the heterosexual community, I do believe because as black people, particularly black women, and I can speak for that, we put our black men on a pedestal because we know they're beautiful, they're strong, they're black. And somewhere in all of us, we know we are the leading group of people who, because you can't go through the things that we've gone through and not still be successful and not be the origin of this whole thing.
Yes.
So I think when you see a black man who has all of the qualities that you're supposed to look up to, but the one thing is, somewhere in there, gayness means softness, which means we take you down a peg from your kingdom. Being a king, when we don't realize who you love and how you love has nothing to do with the fact that you can still lead and be strong and be beautiful and be idolized and be revered.
Yeah, because gayness or same gender loving doesn't mean soft.
It does
It
not.
means same gender loving.
That's all
Period.
it means.
That's what it means.
That's
Period.
all it means.
Mhm.
That's
what it
all
means.
it means.
And I thought about yesterday, this thought came to my mind that I want to share with the parents that are raising kids, because a lot of people look at what Gabrielle Union and what Dwayne Wade are doing. They say the child ain't supposed to be able to just dictate to the parent what the parents do. You're supposed to be there, and you're the adult in the situation, blah blah blah. But it's just like these children are little people, and I think a lot of parents, what you all need to realize is that when you don't listen to your child and you don't allow your child to have a voice in your household, you are no longer a parent. You are a dictator.
And you're teaching that child not to use their voice in other ways, in other times when it's important to it. And you tell them what you're thinking, what you want to do, what you feel is not important to anyone else. And so you learn to suppress that or succumb or follow and never be a leader.
And then you in the stores, you're in the airport, and wherever you go, you see these white parents, and then their kids start carrying on. The majority of them start carrying on and cutting up and going on and stuff. Like, why are you doing that? Can I talk to you? Would you listen to me? And and then just like the same situation happened with black kids, and they are just cursing the kids out like they are an adult. And then you sit up here, and then when Lil Nas X come up here and put a baby bump on a picture, you want to talk about the kid, but you just got through cussing your kid out like your kid was 40 years old.
Hypocrisy. So let me ask this.
Real quick, back to the picture of Lil Nas X, since you brought it up. I think in a lot of ways, the complaints and the offense that people have, you've taken it completely out of context.
Yep.
Because again, industry baby. He is giving birth to his album.
But it's just like that is what they do all the
Right,
time.
right.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
like I
they
said, for
take,
this,
they
it has
take it
been,
out of context of the
it has
same thing
exploded because
happened.
he's gay.
Because
Right.
that's
The same thing happened with Colin Kaepernick.
Mhm.
Kaepernick.
Absolutely.
It had nothing to do with
Uh-huh.
disrespect
They
to
just
the
distorted it.
soldiers
Uh-huh.
and the
So make it-
flag.
So to that though, I will say for the black people, like I said about the whole gay pride thing, we need to be accountable and responsible.
Yes, we do.
Kaepernick, it was other people. It wasn't black people saying this. It was white people. With this, with Lil Nas X, a lot of it is black people speaking out against him. So let's be smarter, black people, and let's not take things out of context like they did with Colin Kaepernick. He is not literally saying that he is pregnant. He is saying that he is pregnant with his album.
But
Industry.
here's the
Baby.
thing too, because even when I gave the same thing with the Bill Cosby show, every man on that set was gay, was pregnant. One gave birth to a car, one gave birth to a sandwich, one gave birth to a boat. There is nothing different that Lil Nas X is doing that we didn't see in a 30-minute show. But for whatever reason, people don't correlate.
And it is out of context because he is gay, I guess. Because he says he's gay. I guess they're saying that he's wanting to be a pregnant man. That's not what he's saying.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Let's keep everything in perspective.
But see, and then this is just like this is what like really bothers me is because it's obvious. It's obvious.
Very obvious.
It's obvious what he was
It's
doing.
very clear.
But everybody that hates gay men,
Right.
they are creating a scenario
Around
where it fits
their
agenda.
Yeah.
Right. Which is for me why I didn't really give much thought to it and didn't really care because I don't really care because I see exactly what the messaging is. And if somebody don't like me because I'm gay, fuck you.
But my thing is it's his artistry.
It is.
Yes.
When Beyonce
He's very clever.
When Beyonce
Yes.
dressed like
Yes.
a boy, you just look at it as art. When Nicki Minaj or whoever dressed as boys, you just looked at it as art.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody dressed up in a so now Lil Nas X. He come in, he pretend
It
he's
can't be
pregnant.
art.
It's not art, it's perverted.
Well, even
No, you're perverted for thinking that
Well,
it's something
even
more
more-
than what it was meant to be.
even more to the core of where Lil Nas X
We
sits
have
right
talked for
now.
an hour.
We
need
sure
to
have.
elaborate.
And he's in hip hop. And the idea, you said this too, the idea that a gay black man is getting all of these accolades, all of this attention, all of this praise,
That's the problem.
and he's in hip hop
Mm-hmm.
and he's gay,
Uh-huh.
threatens the very foundation of what
Of
hip hop was
is.
built on.
You're right.
Which is all ridiculous.
But-
It is
Which is all
ridiculous,
ridiculous.
but-
And newsflash,
but-
lots of gay men have gotten praise and hype and publicity. Y'all just haven't known that they were
Well,
gay.
let me
There you go.
rephrase.
In
Out,
hip hop.
out.
And in any other genre.
But what I'm saying is, as an out gay man,
Mm-hmm.
it's different. Now we all know and have assumed that there are others. We won't say any names, but there are others that we have assumed and know
Right.
that are in hip hop. But he is an out gay man. So now he sets a template for, oh, it's okay to be gay and out and fabulous and ridiculously talented and be in hip hop. And so that threatens the
Very core.
masculine
Manhood.
agenda of, because that's why you haven't even seen a whole lot of famous female MCs. You can count them on two hands, basically.
And
But
also,
which, and I want us as black people also to stop subscribing to this hyper masculine image of what it is to be a man, which is so untrue. Which we
they
know
been throw
that.
that out the window. They
You
been
know,
throw
so
that out the
let's
window.
let all that go because you know you want to talk about all this stuff, but you don't do the simplest things like take care of your home, take care of your women, take care of your children.
Be with one woman.
And also what they're upset with him about is the one card that you had on him, he exposed.
You
it
can't play
himself.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
played
You
it.
can't play it.
Yeah.
So it's just like now it's just like y'all playing catch up.
Mhm.
Because it's just like when he did that and all this controversy about him, you know, and that's disrespectful to pregnant women and that's da 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 and all this and that. He went right on his page and he said, you know, I'm getting ready to get off of social media because all this stress is not good for the baby.
I think he's brilliant. I
Yeah,
really
I
do.
do too.
I think he's
I do
brilliant.
too.
He come back hours later, y'all still talking about it. He goes, y'all, and da 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 and da 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 da. And he put on his post, he said, you know what? These contractions are starting to hurt.
Wow.
Well, and here's the thing too that I hope at the end of all of it, I hope he has enough people around him to keep him
Oh, I'm sure he
covered.
does.
Oh, his team.
I don't think
You
he's
know,
bothered.
I-
I don't
good.
think he's bothered
I
at
don't think he
all.
is at all.
He would be stupid to be bothered.
Okay,
like
good.
I mean, because
That's
if nothing else, he's being talked about more than anybody else right now. I
He
think.
is.
Like I ain't really heard nothing
But
about
like I
nobody
said
else.
earlier, he's a genius.
Yeah.
He has taken all
Yeah.
that negative, every negative
Yeah.
term,
And making jokes about it.
And he's the best and most paid troll on social
He's
media.
brilliant at,
Right.
at throwing hypocrisy up and showing
Yeah.
it for exactly what
Right.
it is.
I told George this when I said when Lil Nas X came out and said that he was gay. I said because I had already saw him in his videos like Old Town Road and his videos. So I said Lil Nas X. I said he got a little Lady Gaga, a little Beyonce, a little all these folks. I said he's a talented artist. And when he came out, I told George, I said he's getting ready to take over the world because he has released himself. So now all the stuff that he had to hide and he had to like try to pretend like he wants to be in these videos with women when we really want to do these videos with men, all of that is gone. I said, and then it's just like, look where he is.
And he might not even want to be in a video with a woman or a man. He might just want to be himself because every video ain't got to be about who you in love with.
Right.
You know, so
Can I
some
ask
things just
another
to be
question?
able to be yourself fully. You know what I'm saying? And not have to pretend that you are
Anything.
something that you're not.
What is the best way for, because I've noticed I really want to do more advocate work or at least use my voice for the community to be an ally, which is why I normally don't even post stuff. But that particular day, yesterday, I was like, okay, I've had it.
I saw
Like
you.
I got, I
was
had
like, yeah.
it.
Didn't you tag me? Don't tag me in your mess.
I've
I
had
got my own shit. I don't need no extra.
And then, you know, I did run into some people who were like, oh, it's demonic or this. And I had something to, you know, to champion for encounter. So my thing is, if there are other people who are heterosexual people who want to champion for the community, how do we do that?
Just by doing that.
Well,
You
what
just
you do-
champion for the community. That's it. Like you would do for anything. You know, it was the same thing when white people were like, well, how can I be more supportive of black people?
Just
Be more supportive of black
Black
people.
people.
It's just that simple. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean-
like you're speaking now, like you did your post.
Mhm.
When you see somebody speaking ill about gay people, say something.
Mhm.
That's how you do it. You just do it like you do anything. you
Okay,
know?
but let me do this though, because I remember I'm going to bring something up. And then I promise. So there was a while back, you know, because I am constantly asking questions because not because I'm being nosy, but I do want to understand. I like to have understanding. So Jason and I and a group of people were having a conversation, and I think it was about transgender people going into bathrooms, and everybody kind of was in agreement about it, and I was not.
So this was during the time that this was a hot topic,
Right.
and they were trying to pass laws
Yeah.
as if they could or could not, or what should they do? Da, 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 da.
Right.
Well, can we wait till the next break and do it?
Sure.
We can. Stay
We will.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
Oh, you in charge. I'm
After
sorry.
these messages, we'll be right back. Da, da, da.
It's just a talk show today. It's just a talk show.
Okay, so can I go ahead and go?
No, we're going to
Okay.
This is your girl, Miss Sophia. Hold it down right here. We are your radio. We're your radio. We're the home of urban sound with pride. I'm in here with my special guest.
Jaquitta Williams.
And Jason McLaughlin.
And George Daigle.
And I understand what that lady meant when she said a bitch that got fired on her day off.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so the doors didn't open until 3:30. So technically speaking,
Majestically.
I'm not exactly late, and I want to be supportive. So
George, I think you're selling out right now, but you know, hey.
I'm not. I'm feeling a little bit of guilt. I really am.
Look at the trash behind you. Thank you, baby.
Is it close to where
You
you where
do
you
what's
going?
right up the street.
Open that door and turn that fan around. What you do with my fan? Because it ain't blowing on me no more.
George, why are you feeling guilt? You don't have to feel guilty. You do things because that's what you want to do. And if you change your mind and you no longer
You
want
want
to do it, that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But I didn't change my mind. You guys changed my mind for me.
You made the better decision by staying
It's
here.
peer
sure
pressure.
Yeah.
It's the right
Oh, this
thing
was
to do.
another one. I didn't want to play it, but this is another one that he did. I love him. His name is Don Santana.
Yeah, I've seen him on something else before too.
Yeah, I've never
him.
seen it before.
Oh,
I've never seen
that
it before.
never either, but he was sexy. You got his information.
Don Santana on Twitter. Yeah.
I know.
Oh, he's
I
somebody.
think
Yeah,
it's great
right
too
now.
because I really
Yeah.
do realize Lil Boosie is helping this boy more than he even
I
And
realize
Boosie is
Boosie
trying to
is
help
playing.
himself. When the last time we talked about Boosie?
I
Right,
didn't
never.
even know who he was.
I don't know who
I
he
didn't
is
know
either. I
who he
still
was.
don't.
I really didn't.
Y'all
Is his name Bootsy or
I just-
Bootsy? I still don't know.
Lil
Bootsy.
Boosie badass.
I didn't
Why y'all
know.
have names like this? What happened to Michael and Alan and Tom?
They've
and
never,
Jim?
had that in hip hop. Never had that in hip hop.
Baby,
Lil
they is
Boosie, no, we ain't
like
never. We got Jay-Z, we got Nas. We don't have Lil Boosie and Lil
We ain't
Baby
talking
and
about
Lil Boosie. Why we do
Boosie.
anything? Lil Boosie, that sound like a girl.
Y'all
I knew a
know
girl
where
named
this
Boosie.
break
She used to do
gonna go,
everybody's head in the
honey.
You
neighborhood.
said what?
I know where this break gonna go. We already at 4 o'clock. They don't talk for
God, that
shit,
time.
they talk for hours.
Yes.
We got shit
Yeah.
to
We
say.
got something to get off our chest.
Bitch. We an old girl. Let me fade this out, bitch. We gotta get to let me
Top of the hour.
yes, honey, let me edit this. And what is this? Cause right, girl, cause I gotta
Just go ahead. Yeah. Sync it to the whatever the top of the album. These are cute.
here we go, baby.
These look like girl shoes.
Oh.
But they're kind of cute.
Oh yeah. Tom, those are really cute. Where are those?
I don't know. My friend just sent it to me.
Where is he? I'm gonna buy me a pair. This for gay pride.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they got me here moving stuff, man. I gotta play these commercials, girl. Oh my God, these niggas can talk. Oh, these niggas can talk, Lord. Oh, babe, I forgot we live. Hey, over there. Over there live.
Oh, put it on there so you can see the comments. Just put muted.
Well, thank you, Sugar Booba. Oh,
Lord have mercy, I forgot all about my
Or
little
you
laugh
can hit that mute when you
behind.
turn on the video. Make sure you hear it.
Lord, that picture of Jason, he just...
My sister Sarah, I love her too. Sarah, I love you. Thank you. She said your hair is everything.
it sure is.
I have the best sister in the world. I just
It
wish I
sure
know.
is. It is.
Oh,
You
baby.
got to mute it.
I did.
Oh, comments. You seeing that over there?
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah.
No, she sent me a text. I can't read that.
Oh.
Okay.
Hello, my beautiful. Hey, Michelle. Holla. Hey, Joe.
People can't call in. You said they can't call.
The phone's not working right. Turn it off and turn it back on, Sophia. See if that fixes it. I don't know how to do it.
We ain't got, baby, y'all can't call in. These hoes ain't gonna get you time to say
I'm
that.
having a photo shoot.
Yes, we
will.
would.
They talk, bitch.
Yes,
they
we
talk
would.
99 miles a minute.
Yes, we would.
Sophia, give me turn that phone on and off. I don't know how to do it.
Turn it on and off.
Yeah.
This how you do it.
But I mean, iPhone work good. I don't know how to do all
You say
that.
on, off. It's off.
Okay, now turn it back on.
Talk about black and brown giftedness. This is an excellent discussion. I tell you, I love mother. Thank you, Michelle. Meaningful conversation with facts. All right, TJ Jicky Vic.
Thanks, TJ.
Great conversation, Dapper 1008. I am being
No.
sweet. I truly miss my mother and hyena siblings.
I don't know why I'm lying. I can't get my ear right here.
You what? Baby, I ain't put my hair on. Baby, I ain't put my hair on today because they would have me sweated out of that. But I don't like that angle right there, honey.
Yeah,
Just look like I ain't got no hair
Come on,
right
George.
here.
Let me see.
Well, my routine watered
Let me see how
down.
to do this.
But it's her birthday today.
Who birthday? Beyonce.
Beyonce.
She
Where
fought.
am I at?
There you
She's
go.
on.
Can you get in there? George, so
You see me? I can't see me.
a little bit right there. Can you right in here? There you go. So,
What? Hi.
hey.
Hey, what's up?
Oh shit, I got the time on. Hold on.
Oh, 10 seconds.
Right. I'm gonna take that off. I don't know how I did that. Hold on, y'all. Stay tuned. There we go. Maybe right there. Take
Did
that
that
off.
ring like which one is better to ring like that one or that one? Well,
They're
they
both
about the same.
But this one, of course, fits on the top of the table.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
That one
if you're on a desktop, this is probably better because it sits above your desktop.
So, come on, get in this.
So Philila.
What's foggy?
I don't know. Oh, because the light. Let me turn it off, huh? See?
Well,
And see, he done been here too many times, baby. You know how to turn stuff on and
Right.
off.
I'm at home
You can
now.
have a key in a minute.
Got one.
What color is it?
Come on over here, Jaquitta. Oh, we can set up the timer and we can take a picture together. I can
How
do
about
that.
that?
See?
That'd be
Yeah, let's
wonderful.
do that. And put it on portrait
I
mode.
love
I'm gonna
that
turn it
song.
around.
Child, I gotta find out what the next break coming.
Child.
My best friend is a trans woman, and she's fine by going into a woman's bathroom because she is one, period.
Amen.
Lil Nas X just opened the door for more gay rappers, so let's keep the ball rolling to bring in more great art.
I love it.
What is and what it ain't.
I really didn't care about Lil Nas X,
if
but
you
because of all
read
this, I care. Because I don't really
blessed,
care. Like,
okay?
I don't really have an interest one way or another.
Hey, Bree.
Sophia, come on, get this picture.
I'm
Lord.
scared to get back 'cause I'm tall.
So y'all hold on. I'm in here with the Slocums.
Wow, get off the stage.
Why is this fuzzy?
Oh, I probably need to clean my. Oh, and I think maybe the ring light too.
No,
No,
it's
so
better.
fine.
It's better. It just was dirty.
Push the button in the middle.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it all the way down to 9?
So we can have time. So get your positioning.
You know, we need to come
Yeah,
in.
there you go. I like the half face.
Did
Did it take?
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, take one more.
Yep. Let me try to see if I can come. Because if I come in, I'm blocking George.
Hey, come on, Troy.
Oh, no more pictures. No more pictures.
So what do you have on?
I think that's Lotus.
Nigga get back. Like Gucci.
That's cute.
That did come out cute.
This one we need to
That's
post
how
it. Look
I
at us
know.
on
Oh, yeah.
YouTube.
Bring me some flyers.
I thought you said some flowers. I wait a minute now.
Flyers.
Oh, I'm trying to
Mr.
airdrop
Charlie.
this and send this to y'all. You got, here, I'm gonna push your number, George. Oh, you put there. You
Mine's
go
open.
airdrop. George, want me to send you this picture? What's your
Ooh, I
number?
don't be letting people airdrop me stuff. So y'all, I got a husband.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, what's your number? Like I said, I don't want to come. Look, I don't cause no
I'm
problem.
joking. You can send it to me. It should be on.
Studio B Mac Mini, is that you?
It should be George's phone.
It ain't coming up.
Let me see.
Come on now.
Try one more again.
I got a key, I think.
Oh my.
Oh,
You think?
sorry, you
You're not
don't
sure?
know.
Well, you know, sometimes
Hey, Myron.
no people found. George, what's your number?
404.
Pam.
Uh-huh.
Myron talking about, oh,
Nice.
Pam got his Whitney Houston on
Oh,
today.
right. No, ma'am. Y'all
Myron
got
talking
me.
about, Pam got his Whitney Houston on today.
You like that?
I want to dance with somebody.
Ooh.
See, I love this too. It looks like
Save it.
Barack
Hey,
Obama
Lakeisha.
sent Lil Nas X some baby shower gifts for his album.
Did he?
Mhm.
Hey, Danielle.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
cute.
Raw King. Nehemiah. Who I missed?
Save mine too, George. What's your last name? It's
Kenya Kardashian Tom TV.
D-A-I-G-L-E.
Uh-huh.
D-A-I-G-L-E.
Oh, baby.
D-A-I-G-L-E.
D-A-I-G-L-E, yes, sir.
Oh, I thought that was spelling dagger.
I got time to go powder my
I like
nose.
that ring.
Go on, child. We coming up after this song. Go ahead. I'm gonna play one more. Go ahead.
That song was about 10 minutes.
No, honey, this one ain't about 1 minute and 20 seconds left. My sister getting her light on.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
You like that green
I
light?
like that ring light.
Baby.
And Amazon.
Would it make sense for me to get one like that or like that?
The Great Danielle, what's
Because
wrong?
I have
What you talking about, the
rings, but
Great
they're not
Danielle?
that big. I like the.
Yeah,
The
I-
Great
really
Danielle,
likes
the
the
Pam
room
give me
well.
Jennifer Lewis teas.
yeah, I got both. So I got this one.
Ain't
and I
nobody
another
got
one
time
home,
for
the
that.
Big square one that you can change the lumens and stuff on
Mhm.
it. A little bit over.
You hot, sis? You want this fan?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I just need a little bit of water. I'm good.
That's all you need, a little bit of water? All right.
Mhm.
That's just a little bit of
Cool
water.
it down. Cool
I'm
it
getting ready.
down.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, I'm getting ready to do it.
That was Cool It Now.
Go lay down.
Did you say oh lay down?
Go
That was
lay
Cool It Now.
Go lay down.
Oh yes, yes.
Go lay down.
Okay.
Go lay down. 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 What you getting ready to do, Jaquitta?
Go lay down.
You don't sound like it.
Go lay down.
No, you gotta hit that thing. Go
Go lay down. This is great.
Ooh. Baby.
Time just felt like it flew by.
It did.
Time to
girl.
lose with swift transition.
Just quick.
No, no earth can be
That's nothing to
seen.
say.
Uh-huh.
Size does matter.
It does.
Oh,
Oh, oh, oh.
go back, go back.
I really do wish. All jokes aside, I do wish we would be a little bit better at being honest. I think if we were honest about how we felt, like people who don't like what, if you were honest about it, then you could get to the root of why you feel that way,
But you
and
know,
then get past it.
we always, and in this society, especially when it comes to gays, which is what we've been talking about most of the time. Remember what was her name? The Sunshine State lady, the Anita woman, the orange juice lady. When they threw the orange juice on her, she was advocating for conversion therapy and all that. I can't think of her name right now. Her daughter just came out as her granddaughter just came out as gay. But anyway, every advocacy against homosexual has always been under the guise of what about the children? Conversion therapy has always been used to protect the children from themselves. Religion, when they talk about, even when they were talking about AIDS, well, we got to protect the children. You know, this gay sex has to stop. That's why, you know, and they always use that because you can put fear in because people want to protect their kids. The basic human instinct is to protect your kids. So if we can make you scared that this is going to affect your kids, like the transgender bathroom issue, they're going to get the kids.
That's what we got coming up.
Right. So
30 seconds, 20 seconds.
Yes, ma'am. I'm shutting up. That was her cue to shut up. So if we can make you want to protect your kids, because what parent doesn't want to do that?
Right.
If we can make you think your kids are in danger, we can make you overreact.
Welcome back to Club Chit Chat with your DJ Miss Sophia right here. We are your radio. We're your radio. We are the home of the urban sound of pride. I am here on a Saturday. Yes, you are not hearing things, honey. I am making up for one of the days that I wasn't here. So y'all get an extra day, and I got a special guest in the studio. The one and only Jaquitta Williams, my sister Jaquitta Williams. Hey, Jaquitta.
Hey,
And my sister Pam, Patrick Antoine Merriweather, Jason McArthur. Hey, Pam.
What's happening?
And of course, my supervisor, George Dago's in the building. Hey, George.
Hey, how are you?
Yes, I'm good, honey, baby. Are we gonna have a radio station to come back to next week?
You will. This
We gonna have a
conversation
radio
is so
station,
good.
a TV show,
Okay.
a podcast,
A talk show
book
radio.
deal.
Okay, come on with the movies and documentaries.
I want to say hey to all of my laughing hyenas that are listening and watching over on my YouTube channel. And if you're over on the We Are Your Radio YouTube channel, we want to say hey to you. I see Myron, yes, capital M, and Leonard, the great Danielle, Michelle. Who else over there? Michelle. We have two Michelles, honey. Brianna, Teresa, Michelle, Lakeisha, Tom, Kenya. Hey, everybody. Michelle and Michelle. Hey. But Jaquitta, before we went to the last break, you said you want to talk about.
Right. So Jason and I were having this conversation. This is when the transgender people being allowed into bathrooms, and we were discussing it, and I surprisingly said I didn't know how I felt about it. I didn't feel like I was comfortable with it.
I'm listening.
So, and Jason kind of looked at me like, I can't believe you're saying that. And I was like, well, I don't want to get beat up by the way that I feel, but I want to try to get to a place where I understand where he's coming from and he understands where I'm coming from. And I still don't know what the right thing is to do in regards to that. But what I was saying is I don't want to, if I am a heterosexual woman or a cisgender woman, I think that's the terminology, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I am that, and I may have a different thought process than you, I don't want to be beat up for the way that I feel, even if I don't know the way that I feel. And that's what Jason and I had to come to, because he was like, I just can't believe you think that way. He was
Well,
like,
how do you think?
I didn't quite feel comfortable
But
with.
what she's talking about, for the people that don't know what she's talking about when they was talking about the transgender women using the women restroom.
Yes.
Or
In
transgender
airport.
men, period. Transgender people using
Yes.
the bathroom that they
feel that they should
identify with.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know how I felt about that. And I wasn't for it, but I wasn't against it. It just made me feel, I don't know, strange. If there was a transgender woman, because I think in my mind, even though I understand what transgender is, you are somebody who feels like you are a woman. But in my natural mind, because I'm very type A, so even though I know you feel like a certain thing, but I know in some other area, your assignment is different from mine.
Right. In your mind, you were like, you should use the bathroom that you was assigned to at birth.
I guess
Although you identify as, a transgender woman, it's just like in your mind. And that's the whole thing.
But here's the other thing too, though. I also realized if you were a transgender woman and you're presenting as a woman, it would look odd for you to go into a bathroom.
Not only odd, but dangerous.
Dangerous. Okay, so I get that. So that's where I was like, I get both sides. I just wanted to acknowledge I didn't know how I felt about it. That's all.
I think it's healthy. I think advocates and allies like you, when you ask questions, look, I'm just trying to understand instead of projecting this is how I feel and this is how it is, which is good, still good. But at the end of it all, you should at least, okay, I hear your side of the argument. I still don't think, I think what I feel is correct for me, but at least wanting to understand it, I commend that. And anybody that wants to be an ally, that's advocacy right there.
Okay.
But at the end of it all, I think a lot of people try again to put fear into people. That they fear that if a transgender person uses a bathroom that they identify with sexually, their sexual identity that they identify with, that somehow they're going to be a predator, or they're going to prey on a child. Again, the whole protect your children thing that they throw out there. When in all actuality, when you go into a bathroom with anyone, are you looking at anyone's genitalia?
No, I'm just going
Are
to
you
use the
in the
bathroom.
stall with them?
No.
Are you?
And that was the thing that I ended up with Jaquitta. That's where I landed with you, and that's where I landed with Jaquitta when we were having this conversation. I said, at the end of the day, we're just going in there to use the bathroom. So it really doesn't matter.
Pee and poo. That's all
It
you're
really
in there
doesn't
for.
matter.
You're not in there to make a date. You're not having a sexual run. Ain't nobody in.
But to my credit, I will say this: because I come from a journalism background, and because I have done stories. Now, granted, it was not a transgender person who was in the bathroom. It was a grown man in the woman's bathroom using a camera to videotape women while they were using the restroom. I full on did a story about it. So I think sometimes when I'm thinking in that regard, that's where my head goes. Average people don't.
Right.
And that man was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing.
But there were no laws passed that said
man.
anybody. Right. So it was. People gonna do what they want to do.
Right.
If a pervert wants to come in there and do whatever a pervert wants to do, he's gonna do it.
That's true.
And we have to understand historically and statistically, more of the offenses of sexual predators are heterosexual men.
White men.
There have been never any accounts at all of a transgender man or woman assaulting anyone sexually in a bathroom.
Right.
Never. Has not happened. It's not even a thing. So they're making an issue out of something that has not even happened. They're making policies and legislatures on things that don't even require it. They're going on, it might happen. Well, okay, you're making all these assumptions about things that you don't really even fully understand. And these are people that are making legislations that don't even know any transgender people.
Right. I got you.
Also, I think you all have to also put into that equation that during the time that all of this was going on, we were in the middle of a hot election.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And these type of topics drive those people who agree with those people to the poll. If they can scare you enough to think that, you're going to be using the restroom, they trying to pass these laws, but you can use the restroom, that's something that's going to make those people get out and go vote. This is like, I wasn't going to go vote, but since they put that on there, yeah, I'm going to go on out here and vote.
Again, why? Because it's that fear.
Yeah.
People fear what they don't understand. And most people are ignorant and don't want to understand, don't want to get an education, don't want to get the knowledge. Well, I heard.
But you know what I also think too, which would help better with understanding? If we did have more forums like this conversations, but I also think, let's just say for a transgender person, I've never really heard anybody explain to me, like, how do you feel like a woman, but I've never had anybody explain. I'm doing a poor job of explaining this.
But
so I think we need more education. That's why I loved Pose. Shows like that can really show me something. I'm walking inside of a world that I would never really be privy to. And in some ways, heterosexual cis people don't feel like we have the right to infringe upon, but we want to understand.
Right.
That's an interesting perspective of it, because is it really that you feel like, and I think you might, I don't know, look, now I'm babbling, but is it really that you feel like you don't have the right, or do some people, I think, don't really have the care to really understand?
Well,
I think you're different.
I do want to understand.
Right.
But I also feel like I don't want to come off as asking a question that is either offensive or ignorant.
Yeah.
But I will say, I've met transgender people, but I've never sat down and felt comfortable enough to ask.
But see, that's the thing that you have, you have me, you have Jason. And
Yeah, but you're not transgender.
But no,
Okay.
you have me and you have Jason. So all you have to do is come to me or Jason. Now you have George. You come to us and say, these are the concerns and questions that I have. I would like to sit down and talk to somebody, transgender, blah, blah, blah. So I can set you up with a transgender person. And when I go to that transgender person, that's my friend.
Right.
They know I'm not coming to them to bring somebody to them that's going to be disrespectful.
Right.
I'm bringing somebody to you who wants to be educated on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to have somebody like us to,
But I wish
introduce
you could
to
do that
person.
in a larger space.
But
Like
see,
I
the
wish we
thing
could
about
have documentaries or something on it so people would understand there is really nothing very different about us, but there are certain things that I would like to understand that a transgender woman feels or man.
There's an interesting documentary on Netflix. Laverne Cox is in it, and they do explore people who are transgender. I'll look it up, but I just saw it and I can't remember. I hardly ever remember titles, but it was really, really good.
Okay.
And for the educational aspect,
Mm-hmm.
I think it really gives you some insight on that.
But also, I want to also add to that equation that you cannot just go on one transgender's
Yes.
story.
Right.
Yes.
You have to meet many, because T.S. Madison and everything that T.S. Madison displays as her story,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of transgender women don't agree with living their life that way.
Oh.
And a lot of stuff that Raquel Lord, the way she lived her life, a lot of people don't agree with the way that Raquel Lord lives her life. So you cannot just talk to one transgender person. You
Right.
have to be introduced to several transgender people, because they all come from different walks of life. Some people want to go all the way and have the surgery.
Mhm.
Some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, you just can't take like transgender, just like with black people. All
Right.
black people
Yeah,
not the
and
same.
we are not.
All transgender people not the same.
Right.
And then we are in the gay community. We are part of the gay community. There is a whole lot that we don't know.
That we
And
don't
we
know
are
because
part
we're
of
not
the community.
transgender. Right.
Mhm.
Because one of our very good friends told us the story about that she didn't know that she was a boy until she entered kindergarten. She literally did not know she was a boy until in kindergarten the teacher separated the class by boys and girls and put her with the boys. And she was thinking,
What's
why am I
going
over here
on?
with the boys?
Wow.
I'm a girl.
Because at home
I
she
never
was
knew
allowed.
that.
Oh wow.
And then this person was also living her life as a drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until later on in life she realized, until she saw. She said, "Oh,
I can
that's
be
me. I
right.
identify with that. That I am a transgender woman. I'm
Yeah.
not a drag queen." Because she said, "I felt, you know, like it's still something
Right.
missing."
Okay.
So even a drag queen and someone who is transgender, those are two different people.
Mm-hmm.
Right, totally different. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that. Thank you for that. We were talking that the name of that documentary is Disclosure.
Disclosure. Okay.
DISCLO.
Disclosure. Yeah.
But another interesting aspect of this whole reproductive issue might blow your mind, but here's the discussion: that there are a lot of transgender men who are also affected by this new law that Texas has put in place. Give you an example: a transgender man who's not fully sexually has not had sexual reassignment surgery could be assaulted, could become pregnant,
Oh.
and there's a whole host of issues that are associated with that, because now this transgender man shows up in a medical room presenting as a man but is pregnant. And medical facilities, most doctors have never encountered
How
that.
does that work?
The person that you talked about on your post,
Yeah,
Oprah,
that
was a transgender. It was one of
transgender.
those situations
Yeah.
they wanted to have a baby. Her,
Mhm.
yeah.
Now that was voluntary, but
Right.
they still have all of the parts, the ovaries, they still have a
But I
female.
thought you take pills or something to get your
Hormones. You can, but I
hormones.
guess some things can still be there.
Yeah.
Nothing is foolproof.
If you stop
Yeah.
taking the hormones, you can still,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And or if you're early on in the taking of hormones, your hormone
Mhm.
therapy, it may not be, so you could happen
Yeah.
then.
So again, back to that, transgender men are in this whole discussion, and they're not even discussing that because they could again be affected by it. This is a really good discussion.
Okay, one more thing I want to say, and then I promise. One other issue
You
as
promise what?
I
You promise
promise
what?
as a cis woman, there is I've seen
Thank you for
conversations.
knowing the language,
I,
though, right?
I told you I
Oh,
studied.
I got some stuff to say about that.
I have researched where there have been transgender women who are not willing to tell their person they're dating or whatever that they are transgender.
Not true.
I'm not saying. I've seen some things where people are like, okay, this person's transgender, but she didn't tell her man that she was. You don't think that's true?
That is.
You don't think that's
No,
true?
no,
that is a myth.
No, it is not, George. You're not going to say that on this radio station.
That is
It is
largely a
not.
myth, because first of all,
George.
let's be clear.
Okay.
Let's be realistic. Now, it may be true that they do not say that when they first meet. That's not a conversation that everybody has, because I need to know if I'm going to see you, if I'm safe with you, if you accept me. I need to have a conversation with you before I even reveal that. But more often than not, I'm going to speak to all the violence of the 34 people that have been killed, and that's what I'm going to speak to, that are transgender or non-binary conforming, gender conforming. Your partner knows. You cannot tell me that you don't. You know if your partner below the belt is assessed with whatever their genitalia are.
But I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm talking about if I go out, I see a guy, I think he's attractive. He comes over to talk to me. I'm talking to him. He asks me on a date. We go on a date, and then maybe somewhere down the road, not first date, not second date, he tells me that he's a transgender man.
Again, it is the person. Because I have spoken to people on both sides.
Yes.
And some people say, why should I reveal that? Because I didn't go through all of this to live that life or tell somebody about that life. And some people are like, with everything that is going on in the world and trans people are being killed, then when we get to a certain point, then I am going to tell that person. But again, it is up to the person whether or not they want to reveal that side of themselves, because the people are saying, I am a woman. I live my life as a woman. Everything that you knew about me before I became a woman, that's dead. And I'm not sharing that with nobody, not even somebody that I am getting sexually involved with.
So are we talking about women that have had the sex change or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yes, people that have been through the whole change.
Yeah, now,
So
I
is
don't
that
think you
what we're
should.
talking about?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about? Okay. Yeah,
if
to
you
me,
have
if the person
sexual
has had the
reassignment,
sex
no.
change, it's not necessary.
No.
I mean, it's up to the person. It's up to the person. Now, would you want to know? Okay.
Why is that not?
I don't think if I were to meet a man and I believe he is a man, born a man, has man equipment, then I if he wasn't originally that, I would like. I think it's
And it
fair
may
for
not
me
be.
to know that.
It may not be fair, and hopefully, hopefully I would want and hope that they would tell you eventually, and before
But I
it
don't
gets
even
too
want
far involved.
eventually. I want immediate.
On day one,
Here's
yeah, not
what-
day one. Y'all
here's
might
what-
not even click. Y'all might not even see each other on day two. So it might only be
I don't think
day
you should
one.
always click.
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay, but what if we are clicking? What if
So when we
click from the
see that
first
we're
one?
clicking, then that's when
But-
it comes.
but
But,
listen-
that's a part
but
of
here's
getting
the
to know somebody, right?
Here's
Because when I
also-
meet you, I don't know everything about you anyway.
You don't.
So
But you
that's
know
the
that
part
I'm
of
a
getting-
woman.
You
I
don't know
think
that.
you are. I don't know that.
Now,
I don't know
here's
that.
Here's a question for you. What makes a man to you?
Oh, you know, he's a provider. He, if it's physically and sexually, he has the equipment to do that.
Okay. Well,
He
if he has the equipment and he's the provider and he's got all the criteria that you want in a partner, why does what he was in a former life matter now?
Because I that's important to me.
How is
It just feels like it's a lie if you don't tell me and give me the option to decide. It's like you're taking something away from me.
What are you taking away?
Truth.
What he has
The truth.
He has a penis. He's a provider. He has a great job.
I've never seen what it looks like when
Oh, you can pick him.
you could pick your
You
penis
cannot.
size.
No, you cannot. No,
I'm
no,
like, you-
stop it.
like
He
you-
is talking. No.
I'm being ridiculous. No,
No,
no.
George is
no.
awful.
I just
When it comes to that, the
Equipment.
female converting to the male,
mhm.
a lot of them choose not to go through with the surgery because of the size.
But she's talking about somebody who has.
But she's talking about. But I'm telling you right now,
Mhm.
if you like
Mhm.
well endowed men,
Mhm.
I don't think there's going to be a well endowed trans man.
Okay. And he doesn't. Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be well endowed, but it can be respectable. A respectable.
But see, so now
And that's
we get-
subjective.
But here's the thing. I'm saying if he's a man, born a man, but I don't. I just feel like I want to know who I'm dealing with, and it give me the decision. I may meet the person and decide, yes, I still want to try dating you,
But
but I don't like feeling like
you
you're
have to
keeping something from
You have
me.
to understand that a transgender man, and we're talking about a transgender man or a transgender woman who has gone
Yes.
through sexual assignment, sexual reassignment surgery, SRS. They now fully consider themselves a man, and they're not going to identify to you that I was a woman and now I'm a man. They're not going to do that because that's but
I
as,
just don't
But
think
hold
that's
on,
right.
I think, but no. I hear what she said.
I do
hear what
too.
you're
I
saying.
totally understand.
But the danger in
Mhm.
what she is dealing with is the whole conversation that we've been having all day. It's just like he can be that man and not share that with her, but somebody else can.
Mhm.
So it would be
Some
better to
angry
hear it from
family
him.
member-
From him.
Thank you.
Because
Right.
it's coming out.
Right.
It's going to come
Because-
out. Because you
because-
go to the family barbecue. or
I'm
the
going to
family
know, and I
reunion.
am the kind. I'm going to find out. My job is research. My job is journalism.
And then
So it's
I'll have
best.
to tell you what Grandma told us years ago. Be careful what you go looking for, because you just might find it.
But here's the thing. I'd rather find the truth than anything else. Because anything you tell me afterwards, if you don't tell me, I'm never going to trust
You
you.
know, not an accusation.
No, listen.
What is it?
I think the thing is, you have to get to this place where you have found what you feel like is your soulmate,
Yeah.
because they haven't shared this with you. So I think that if it was me, I would think that because I have fallen in love with this person, I've gotten to know their mind, their beliefs, and how they feel and how they treat me and everything else. So something like that will come up, it'd be like, yeah, you should have told me, but because you have so many other check marks of all the other things that I love, and because I genuinely have fallen in love with you. It really don't matter. But yeah, I'm a little pissed off that you didn't tell me. But because I
See,
know
I'm not
you,
like that. I'm not like that.
And
I'm
so
the kind,
I-
if you check everything off, but if I find out something that's for me, and honesty is important for me in a relationship,
Mhm.
no matter how uncomfortable it is, honesty means everything to me. So if I
But-
feel like you lied to me about that, Everything else that I check goes away.
They didn't lie to you. They just didn't share that with you.
There's a difference.
They didn't share that with you. They
Okay,
didn't
so I
lie to
think
you.
that's
Y'all
the
haven't
same
talked
thing.
about it.
I
I
know.
think that's the
I'm
same
sorry.
thing.
Withholding and lying are two different things.
I think it's the
But,
same thing.
hold on. But,
I think it's the same
but then
thing.
in that aspect, it's just like, well, there are some women who get with men and they don't let men know that they have had abortions. So is that the same thing?
Well, I mean, I think she should tell him if there's something, if they want to have children and she's scarred or messed up or something. Yeah, I mean, I've never had to have an abortion, so I don't know. But I mean, if I'm being truthful, if he asks me about, have you
So
ever
that
had,
brings
Well,
me
if
to,
you
would you
ask,
ask a man if they were one? Because my mother said to me, and this
I
was
will
many
ask
years ago, she
I'll
said, my
ask
mother said,
everything now.
I'm gonna have to start asking men when I meet them, are you gay?
There you
She
go.
said,
and here's the thing, even not just gay. I mean, like, are you gay? Have you ever had a sexual experience with a man?
Okay, so now we're about to go down a whole nother
Because
road.
here's the thing. Now, and again, you are totally right in having the feelings you have. So what I'm saying is not to negate what you're feeling. Is it really? But at the same time, when you go down that road, have you ever had sex with a man? Well, how many men have you had sex with? And can I get their names? I need to know who they are. Have they ever had STDs? Have you ever had bad credit? Have you ever been to jail? I mean,
But
all of that is up for
I'm willing
conversation if we're
to
dating.
answer
I
every
think.
last question. I'm willing to answer every last one.
I think when and somebody in the YouTube group said it's not that easy because a lot of them are scared because exactly this conversation that we're having. I think you're right to have that. You want to know, and I get it. You feel you have the right to know, but at the end of it all, and I think the most important thing is if this man is everything else that you need him to be, including a man, then why what he was before? Why does that matter? Down there.
See, and then I think.
No,
that
I'm just asking why does that matter?
But if you feel that way, then I think
Because
that
You're entitled to
because
that.
sex is important to me.
And you're entitled to we are all entitled to
that's what I
feel and
said.
have our
Yeah.
opinions about this.
Yes,
and for
certainly.
those of us that it doesn't matter, that's okay. And for those of us that it does matter, that's okay as well. However, I do feel and believe, even for myself, because I'm actually on the fence as I'm listening to this now, I'm like, how would I feel? I think if they do check all the other boxes and that's the only thing, hopefully all the other boxes and all the other things are so strong that finding that out won't change.
It would for me.
Let me finish. Won't change how you feel about them and where your relationship is. And it might initially, because you'll be blindsided by the fact that they didn't share something with, and I'm totally in agreement with that too, because I am much the same
But
way.
if you
that
have watched Jaquitta's Instagram, and she don't play.
Right.
I'm
I know
very
she does.
type A.
I know
I'm
she
very
does. But
type A.
I also realized too, and I also, but because once somebody lies to you, you then
Yes.
question everything else that they.
Everything.
But then I think that
Right.
just opens the door for further conversation and deeper conversation for both of you to get to know each other even deeper. So you can maybe even
I ain't gonna never trust
they
you
didn't
though.
lie.
maybe not
They
though,
didn't
because
lie.
then there may be some things that maybe you withheld.
He just didn't share that with her. He
Yeah,
didn't
there
lie.
may
They
be some
didn't
things that you didn't share
But
with
you
him.
know
So
what?
this opens the door for us to be able to fully share everything about ourselves, even the things that we may be ashamed of, the things that we may not be proud of, the things that we thought that we would never share with anybody else. Because I'm sure we all here have at least one of those things.
Well, let me
It might
ask-
not be
But
our
hold on,
sexual.
but
I think she's saying that that's the thing.
No, but the
She's
thing
like,
about it is,
yeah.
the thing about it is, if you feel that strong about that, that's something that you should start off asking at the beginning before you invest time into a relationship. If you already know that if that's going to change how you feel about that person and you're not going to want to be involved in that relationship, then that's one of the questions that you have at the top of your list when y'all first meet. Baby, listen, let me ask you. I don't mean no disrespect or nothing like that because it's a lot going on out here. And then we got all these different definitions and all these terminologies of how people identify themselves. Were you born a man?
Because they probably won't tell you day one. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I don't think they're going to tell you day one.
Because I think of it this way: if you met a guy that you really liked, he's checked all your boxes. He decided he wants to wait before he gets intimate with you, and then you find out that the man is actually used to be originally a woman and doesn't have the equipment, or the equipment is small, whatever.
Well, that would be disappointing whether or not he was born that way or not.
Okay.
I'm sharing too much. I'm sorry. Just kidding.
But how would you feel if you knew, if you're thinking you're dating you like men and you're dating a man and she feels like a man, so she is a man, but then you realize, oh.
I mean, and that's what I said. I understand what you're saying. I would be disappointed, but if my other feelings were, I would have to cross that bridge when I came to it.
I would think so too.
And I don't think that anybody's going to tell you on day one. They might not even tell you on day two.
If I
or
ask.
week 3.
If you ask, hopefully they will tell you the truth, but I don't think they're just going to volunteer that information. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe there's some people who will, but that's not a first date conversation necessarily, unless they do really just want to put it out. Because, like I said, on the first date, we don't really know if we really like each other.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if it was something where I'm fighting with you, you know, sometimes you can meet somebody and it is very just, you feel like you've known them and there's connection.
I felt that.
So I guess my thing is, the bottom line is, and I don't care if it's, you know, transgender or if it's my friendships, I don't like being lied to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do this to my friends too.
Right.
If I felt like there was something and you lied to me,
right,
that would drastically shift
yeah,
how I do friendship with you.
yeah, yeah.
So it's not just that. It's
Here's a
across the
question
board.
for you from the group.
Sure.
Somebody in the group, and first of all, Weekend Pearls, that was great. They said, if you're scared about having truthful conversations, then stop having expectations that require the truth. That was good.
That's brilliant.
But someone asked this question. I can't tell you that says. B Hobbs asked, so when does she want to find out? And then they are scared that she would run their mouth and tell what they told you.
No, well, here's the thing about me. You would be surprised at how many things I know based on the life I've led in journalism. So that would be private. It is not my business to tell your business about how you're living your life. That's one. Two, I am the kind, before I even fall into anything, I don't want to fall in love with somebody to only realize that I'm not really truly falling in love with the truth about things. It may be the truth in their minds, it's not the truth in mine. So 9 times out of 10, I would like to know off top.
So I'm
But
just
you
gonna
know
pause
what?
for I'm gonna pause for a minute because, and this is, I love you, but there was a little bit of judgment, I think, in that last statement, just because you say it may be the truth in their mind, but it's not the truth in your mind.
Mhm.
If it really is their truth, and this is really somebody who
They believe they are.
they believe that this is who they are, and they went to the extent to actually have surgery to put their body in line with who they've always felt that they are, for them, that really is their truth.
And that's fine.
And
it's their truth. It is, like I just said, it's their truth. It is not my truth.
Pause again.
But
And not to shift you, and not to attack you, but just as we were talking about being open-minded.
Right.
Let's use Gabrielle Union. Let's use Gabrielle Union and Dwayne
Okay.
Wade for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, the whole being open-minded to that. You know, especially now we realize that there's so many different types of people on this whole sexual spectrum, and falling in love with the person is what we really do. You know, so if to just, and again, because I totally agree with you in the whole lying to, but if it really is just that, and that is really their truth, let's allow space. And maybe not today, it may take you a while to get, we may come back, we may talk about this next week, as we often do. You know, when you said that. But just to allow for this to be that this may really be it for them, and you still may have whatever feelings you have about it, but to know that something like that, and I'm speaking for someone who really doesn't even understand it, because I'm not that person, you know.
But
I don't feel like I'm somebody else.
Good. The road you're walking down is real good.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
But you know what? I want to say this too. It is just going back
They
to
stopped me.
no, it's just like going back to, like, when I say if that's something that's important to you, then you need to ask that question. It's just like it's just like you say, well, hi, what's your name? You know, then you ask to say, but hold on. But my thing is, you need, if it's that important to you, you need to ask that question at the beginning. You say, listen, I don't mean no disrespect, and blah 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 blah. Even if that person don't tell her the truth, she has planted that seed in that person's mind where they want to be like you.
Right.
You know, and they're going to be uncomfortable.
So even if they don't want to tell you the truth, maybe they just will not engage in a relationship with
And that's
you.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't,
And that's your answer.
And that's fine.
Right.
That's my answer.
Right.
You don't have to, if you don't want to divulge that,
Right.
I respect that. One thing I have learned, I'm like, God, whatever's for me is for me. But if it's not, take it away, and I won't ask no questions about why it's gone.
Right.
I'll just know that that was your will, and I'm cool with that.
Right.
So I guess what I'm just saying is, I understand why certain people have to be secret, because it could challenge their livelihood, their living. But I also think too, it's not so far for me to ask. to want truth.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because here's the thing that I have to admit too. There are certain truths about myself. If I was dating somebody, it may be uncomfortable for me to tell them to you, but I will tell them to you. I will tell them.
At some point.
No, I kind of come off the top. I'm grown. Like I've had conversations with men, and I'm like, I'm a cancer survivor, and for a long time, I had a lumpectomy, so my breasts are awkward. One is much larger than the other one because I had a lumpectomy, and so I used to have an issue with that. I would tell that to somebody. I'm telling it now, and that used to be something that used to be fearful to me because I think if I'm in an intimate setting and you see my body, you might feel some kind of way about it. But I'm telling you, that's off the top.
Right.
I'm telling you that.
As intimate as that is, and again, not to negate what you're feeling, I want to make sure I say that. As intimate as that is for you, think about that person who has gone through all of this life change to come to a point where they have assigned themselves to this person, to this. This is who I am, outside and inside now. And it's not a thing that, something that is like augmented, like losing an arm, for example. I didn't lose an arm. I chose to augment my body. This is not something that I'm willing to just share because this is who I am. And while you have the right to want to know and ask the question for your own peace of mind, I think that the person who's in that position and any transgender person who has has had SRS is saying, this is who I am. So I'm gonna say no, I'm a woman, or no, I'm a man.
Could I ask this question, and this is just me being the devil's advocate? What is the difference in this trans man doing this to her and a down low brother doing that to a heterosexual woman?
Because first of all, we're not going to put those two things in the same position. I'm not a transgender person, so I'm not going to speak for them. But a DL man is being secretive about a life and desires that he has, and he's not telling his partner. A transgender woman or man is not willing to tell that this was my past life, that I left, but I killed this person because it was a psychological fight that I had every day with myself. Now I am a woman. I'm not living a secret. This is who I am. That DL brother is keeping a secret about who he is.
And I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I agree with
I
that.
understand that.
I agree.
I understand
with
that.
They're two totally different things.
I understand
Totally
that.
different things.
That I understand. I do. I get that. But it is, that's hiding too. But I do hear his difference because you're right.
Hiding is hiding, but I think the DL is hiding with a different intent.
Come on now.
It's hiding with a different intent. So your agenda, your motives are different.
But I think I hear you, but the thing about it is they're hiding with a different intent, but the hurt is the same.
He certainly is.
I would think the hurt is even a little different because if I fell in love with somebody and just later found that they weren't really born a man,
that's different.
I'm gonna be hurt, but not the same hurt as knowing that somebody had a whole nother life.
Right.
That's different than what I can provide them. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
I
okay.
had a relationship with someone who
Yeah.
was into swingers clubs and stuff. He told me very early on in our dating he had been married to a woman before, and later during our breakup, I found out that he had gone to a swingers club again. So in my mind, you have started doing something that you told me before. That was a totally different hurt because if that's what you're looking for, that's something that I'll never be able to provide you. So then much like Jaquitta said, now everything that happened prior to this is in question. Did you really love me the way that you said you did? Were all those things really true?
Because of that one thing. Someone in the group again, Weekend Pros, you own it. I guess that's why that's your name. How many horror stories have we all heard about someone weaponizing intimate conversations because someone or other parties tell their own individual truths?
But that doesn't give you a reason to not. Because you're right, we have heard many, but that doesn't give you a reason to not do that. If you truly want to live your truth and have that reciprocated, that doesn't give you the right to me.
Because and then the other thing too, even if you die to what you used to be, then if I'm asking you about your past or how you grew up or about your family or about all of these things, does that mean you're creating something or you're just saying you're not telling me? How does that work?
From what I've read, and this is on, I am not a transgender person, but I read a lot because I want to be an advocate for these people.
You keep saying that, but I believe you are trans.
Maybe.
Because you seem to be an authority.
I truly,
you know a whole lot.
feel compelled to be an advocate for trans people because I feel that there's so many questions, just like us from the LGBT community, that I want to understand and understand why they're being killed, understanding why they have to be the way they are, with not being telling, or why it's important to be identified as a woman and go into the bathroom, or a man and go into the bathroom. I want to know, I want to understand these things. But from what I read in reports, like when people have been killed, a lot of times people dead name them, and a dead name is when their dead life that's over. And to bring it up is like saying that I'm still embracing that life. That's not who I was then, and that's not who I am now.
Yeah, so, but it's part of your past.
But it's not who they are. They struggled their whole life to be this person.
I'm struggling my whole life to be the person I am now.
But
there's some things about me that I am no longer.
It's different though. You were born a cisgender woman, and that's who you are, and that your identity is attached to that. This transgender person has struggled their whole life to be the man.
Let me ask this: how do people like T.S. Madison and Shauna Brooks and M.J. Rodriguez and all of the women who are transgender and have no problem letting you know that they're that?
They're individuals.
Well, M.J.
They're
Rodriguez is on
individuals.
TV now, so she can't really not let you know because she's on TV.
But even what's the creator of the show?
Janet Moss.
Yes.
Well, she exposed it herself.
She exposed her exactly.
Right.
So my thing is, what is it different about those women that gives them the courage and the wherewithal to do that?
Positioning
That's
platform.
an individual. That's an individual person, because we all come to things at different times that we reveal about ourselves, no matter how big or small. That's a part of, I think, growth in our process. And there's no, it's not that when you turn 22, you got to tell everybody everything that you ever did. No, it's just a part of your growth and development.
But I think the thing about it is, what's great about this conversation is, I understand what she's saying too, because what she's really asking for is your history. And to me, my history is important. And to her, your history is important. And if I'm involved in a relationship with somebody, and every time I go to find out their history, I get a roadblock. I'm not trying to find out the history of who you are because I want to use that against you.
Yes.
I genuinely want to know the history. It's just like she's an AKA. And then all the stuff that she went through when she was pledging, and all the experience that she had when she was at the HBCU, it's just like, okay, now I'm not affiliated with the AKAs. I'm not affiliated with that anymore. And I don't want to talk about that and blah, 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 blah. It's just like.
But I think, again, not to attack, I think in this case, wanting to know this history is not because necessarily it is to get to know you, but because if this is a part of your history, she doesn't want to date you, according to what you said, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's for a different reason than what you're saying, because knowing that she's an AKA, I'm not going to not want to date her because she's an AKA. That's part of her.
No,
I
I'm
don't like
just
AKAs.
saying, I'm not saying not want to date her. I'm just saying her not want to share her history with you. It's just like you do want to know.
You want to know,
but she wants to know this specifically because if you are in this category, she does not want to date you, not because that's getting to know you.
But the thing that I'm looking at is, it's just like there is so much about you. Although this is one aspect of your life that you don't want to share, that you were not born this way, there are so many other things that are going to expose that about you to her if you discuss other things about your history with her.
If you're honest about it.
But see, it's just
but
like,
if you can't honestly
but the thing about it is,
I,
if you're not willing to share that with her, then there's a lot that you're not going to share.
Exactly.
Because
Right, so
you have erased all of that.
And I'm just thinking, if I'm this person, if I was once a woman and I'm now a man, and I don't want to share that, whatever history I tell you, I'm gonna make up something. Because it's probably the first time that I've gone through this.
Lies always come to
Right.
It's a lie.
So again though, but her reason for wanting this information is not because she wants to know your history. It's because she doesn't want to date this type of person, and that's okay. That's her right. You don't have, there's certain types of people that none of us. If you don't want to date somebody that's 5'2", you don't have to date somebody that's 5'2".
I hear you, but I'm taking the conversation further. I'm taking the conversation to somebody that
But the conversation is where it That's what
But
that's where the
the conversation is like, she don't want to date him. She don't want to date him. What if
Right.
it's somebody that don't mind dating him? Don't mind dating this person.
Okay.
But then this person still don't want to share that part of them with this person who is willing to accept that part of you
Then that's their
because
right
you
too,
have
though.
killed that.
Yeah,
you
but
have
that's
killed
their-
that part of you.
But that's their right too. I feel it's each person has a right.
I
If
agree.
she has the right to want to know, and I have the right to not want to tell her, that's each of our right.
And I
So
have the
then we
right
don't
to
need
go
to
the
date.
birth-
That's right, exactly.
And
We
that's
would
what I
not
was
be a
gonna
good.
say.
We would not
Right.
be.
We are not a
perfect.
match. We are
We
not
are
each
a
other's
match.
soulmate. Because if we were, we wouldn't be at a
odds.
disagreement here.
And
Exactly.
But I think at the
This
core,
is
at the,
good.
at the
This is
core
good.
of this conversation is this goes back to overall cisgender, transgender, heterosexual, homosexual, transgender. When you are entering in a relationship, and Nate Cowser on We Are You Morning Crew says this all the time. When you sit down, you need to have conversations.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely.
Who are you?
Mhm.
There was that relationship person
Honest.
I saw on
Honest
Instagram,
conversation, and you need to ask what you want to know,
right.
so you can decide
Right.
if you're gonna move forward.
A relationship person I saw on Instagram, he said something that was really that stuck with me, and I don't remember it verbatim, but it basically came down to deal breakers and preferences.
Yes.
What are your preferences,
Mhm.
which we all have,
Mhm.
and what are your deal breakers? You know,
Mhm.
I prefer somebody that's 6'2" or taller. Does that mean if you 5'9", I'm not gonna date you? No, but
Mhm.
that's my preference.
Mhm.
Now, a deal breaker probably would be if you're
A lie.
4'8",
Mhm.
no, or a liar.
A liar.
Well, Royal King forever says, as a trans man, I tell people I have no shame in being trans. But every trans person might not want to tell people right away. Everyone is different, and that's okay. And that's
Thank
what
you.
we've been
And
saying all
that's
Yeah.
exactly what we're saying.
Yeah,
I
thank
agree
you.
with that. And I think it's okay if you don't want to share that information, then I probably am not the woman for you.
Mhm.
And we can both go on about our lives. And
Y'all might
probably-
be great friends.
and that's fine too.
Then Ross said, I can't with this lady. She's doing too much. But see, and that is, and if
But
you
she's
haven't-
entitled to that.
hold on. But that's if you haven't watched the entire show, that was one of the things that she brought out, which is why the heterosexual community don't ask questions, because all they want to do is be educated about who we are and what's going on.
Very
And
respectful.
then
And that's
when they come to us and ask us these questions, some of us we just go to thinking that they're trying to attack us.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to be educated on who you are. So when I'm in my circle, I can educate my people
Exactly.
about who you are.
Yes.
Well, no, girl, that's not true, because I sit down and I talk to such and they
Exactly.
told me that.
You know how many
Such and such.
circles I have been in with heterosexual people who have said something negative, derogatory, ugly about the LGBTQIA community, and I have checked them, and we are no longer friends.
I know
Right.
some
You
of
know
them,
how
'cause
many
you call
times-
me, you call me still
Exactly.
hot.
Okay?
Right.
So
And let me tell you what this mother.
see that part right there,
Right.
And
Right.
that's verbatim.
Right.
Yes, God.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. If we are to have some kind of alliance or care or allegiance, and it's unfortunate that person said that they feel like I'm doing too much, because until I get understanding, I'm going to ask questions, because it's in love. It's not out of anything else.
Yeah.
And if I'm out of this environment and I need to go somewhere else, and let's just say I'm having this conversation with a heterosexual person, I can regurgitate this
Right.
Mm-hmm.
to
Right.
them and make them understand why people will not be
Right.
honest.
Right.
And that way, violence may be a little bit less because of this conversation
Right.
we're having right now.
Right.
And
And
what
even
I-
in your
and what
understanding,
I-
you're still entitled to feel how you want to feel. And just because we're having the conversation with you doesn't mean that we're all going to agree.
That's
we
it.
can all have our own opinions, and that's okay.
And still love each other.
And still love
and
each other.
fight the hell out of somebody.
Anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
too much. No, we love you too, and we understand. Sometimes, you know, we understand.
Yeah.
We're all
We get it.
different,
We get it.
and we're all in a process right now of becoming and growing
Because
and
I
learning
am
and
tired of
evolving.
seeing transgender people die. I am tired of watching stories where you see a transgender group of women who are walking down the street and men come up and start hollering and fighting, and I don't like that.
Right.
I don't like it.
And another part of this conversation that we could throw out there is, with all this Black Lives Matter movement starting.
That too.
Mm.
And then it's just like everybody wants to go. They want everybody, no matter if you're transgender or if you're gay or if you're straight or whatever. All they want is people to come out here and help fight this cause.
Mm-hmm.
And the transgender community stood up and said, you know what? I don't mind, but where are you when my sisters and brothers are being killed.
Mhm.
I don't see y'all galvanizing everybody, regardless of the, who
That's
you
it.
sleeping with and all that, to come and protest and march with us.
Mhm.
See, this is the problem that I have with y'all. Y'all want to come to us and it's like, y'all want to come to us and want us to come and help you fight, but y'all won't help us fight.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I do.
Mm.
I'm saying that I do.
Baby, listen, George, I don't know, but I think we done started something here.
Every Saturday.
I think this is a show, and we're not going to have no Will You Radio. We're going to have Will You Radio Saturday talk show.
Let's talk about it.
All right, we can do that. We can do that.
Saturday.
I
But see,
just-
he said we could do that, but then sometimes he don't be here. He's not here.
We can do
I've enjoyed this.
Me
This has been
too.
good.
it. Is it 6 o'clock
Give
already?
me
Oh,
the
No,
break,
it's not
it's
6
fine.
o'clock. It's not 6 o'clock.
Do we need to take a break or we about to keep talking? It's
Nah,
hot.
we finna
I think
take
we
a
need an
break.
air conditioning break.
We finna take a
Air
break.
conditioning.
You have no air on Saturday, y'all. What in the
But this
world?
is good.
We gonna need a
Ooh.
better
This helped me
facility.
very much.
Oh, I know.
Very much.
And George Hewitt said, I appreciate her asking questions. Hell, I'm gay and I still have questions.
Amen. Amen. Some about myself, shit.
And now, hey, Lila, and then it's just like when we have all of this going on, now we have this foundation. I'm serious. This is a show. This is a show.
You really?
And I think-
now,
I think-
and then we need to have a transgender person here.
That would be
just
great.
invited I just
That would be
invited
great.
Royal to,
That would be
maybe
great.
participate.
And then we need
So
to
I wish
have,
you need to pull up that Flame clip with Boosie then, because that was a really good. I was really impressed with Flame and the
I
way
was.
she handled that. I was.
Oh, yes, she did good.
I
saw
thought
the
Flame
whole-
handled herself
No, I
really,
saw
really
the
well.
video.
I
I saw
was
the
really
video.
impressed.
I saw it too. I wasn't impressed.
Well, I
We'll
was
talk about that.
impressed.
Let's talk about that.
Okay,
next
let's talk
time.
about it.
Girl,
Come on.
Because I didn't see that.
Come on, sucker.
I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to see watch
I'm
that.
your girl, Miss Sophia, hold it down right here. We owe you. I'm your girl, Miss Sophia, hold it down on We Owe You Radio Talk Show on Saturdays. Carter Williams, Pam, Jason McGraw,
Hot box.
and I see.
Well, that's another meeting. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we got some money on the air, nigga.
I do, honey. do.
Where did you see the video with us?
So we find a studio where we can go
Hey,
take this
we
somewhere and
jump
tape
on
this
you.
for YouTube. That would be great. Where could we do that, Jaquitta? Where we could take this and put it on YouTube for We Are You Radio on Saturday. That would be so
And then
fantastic.
we could do it across all of our platforms too. We are.
Hey, Raw King,
Because
I
would
don't
love
want to
to
put
have
you on the
more-
spot. I just want
I
to use
would
that
like
because
to
that's the
have more
prime
spot.
example why we're here. We're here to educate people.
Ooh.
Hey,
Because we held
husband.
you hostage.
Where is the link so I can see what the?
What's going on?
Where-
George,
where did
you
you
said
see?
he would love to be on the
No.
panel.
You said between
Oh, I don't
Boosie
know.
and
I
the
never
other
even
person
got
that
there.
you
I'm
saw.
sitting here at the station.
Well, synopsis.
Oh my God.
Tell me what.
Oh my,
That's what I said too.
Oh my- Listen, George supposed to be called at 3.
I was supposed. No, I'm over here with Jaquitta and
It's
Jason.
good conversation. You can't just walk away from no good conversation. Just like you can't come out of the middle of a good shout. When the spirit on you, you just gotta go with it. Tie that church up. They got some more wood to rebuild. Oh, this is good. Y'all
A little bit of guilt?
good. Y'all
Yeah.
niggas know y'all can talk.
Yeah, we can.
Look, look, I
We
still
be
be
passionate
on
about it
process.
too. Like, look.
This is show. Y'all,
Alright,
this is
love
the
you.
show.
It is.
This Saturday show. Oh my God. You know they hired a guy for the talk.
You fascinating. What'd you say?
Ooh, James.
He said it's representation for the station. You should have been there.
Get up and go.
Shit, it's almost over there.
It ain't over there.
And look, you
But
going
stay
to
here.
You going to the trans award. We talking about trans. You
Right.
over there with him. How you gonna be an ally? You won't even go to that
Because y'all
award.
niggas made me stay.
You know what I used to have a problem with too when it came with trans? It used to be so difficult in my brain.
Now remember you're lying, so.
Okay, never mind.
Text us.
Never mind.
I always want to help my people.
Yeah, never mind. Because I was about to
No,
ask,
we
I
being
was about to
honest.
say
We
something
being honest and transparent.
maybe-
What is the sin?
No, I'll do it honestly.
No,
and
nigga,
when
come
my
on
eyes are
with
not-
it.
Drink.
Eyes are
Good.
not looking at me.
You good?
No, I'm good.
Is this over here just recording? You ain't stopping it.
I ain't stop it.
It's just steady recording.
Mhm.
It's
What was the exchange, George, between Lil Boosie and
Do you have it, George, still?
I can look it up.
Flame.
Flame?
Ooh.
Yeah. Was she addressing something that he's?
Yeah. She
I
was
just want to
basically-
be able to see it so that I can be a
Well,
part of the
his
conversation.
viewpoint was that let me look it up. He was saying that I as a parent should have the right to raise my kids
To not be gay.
to not be gay.
It's like,
Wait, how do you
can't
do
control
that?
it.
Yeah, how do you do that?
He
Yeah.
How are you
said
gonna do that?
he wasn't saying it right, but I get what he was saying. I think what most parents don't want, they know that being a black man is already hard enough. Being a black gay person is doubly as hard. But I think at the core of it, most parents don't want to be seen as failures, and they feel like, what did I do wrong? What should I have done differently?
But how is having a gay
But
child
I-
a failure?
That's
How
what
is that a
that's what they
failure?
feel. A lot of people feel it reflects on them, and yeah, it does. Because I was just having this conversation with another
But
coworker.
you know what? I want to say this, and I know we're not on air. We live. Y'all can take it and y'all can spread it.
What had
The
happened?
thing about it is,
You looking at that too?
no, the thing about it is,
I'll just listen to whatever y'all
I
say.
I feel gay people are born gay.
I agree.
Now, some parents growing up, you make your child suppress that. And to use Lil Boosie having his son sleep with prostitutes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because he wants him to be straight. If he's born gay, I don't care how many prostitutes you have
Put in
him
front
sleep
of
with.
him. Mhm.
When he becomes of age and he can decide who he wants to sleep with, he's going to sleep with men.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many women you parade in his
Mhm.
room,
I
he's
agree.
doing that for you, Bootsy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing that because that's who he is.
And that's what all the problems come from.
And the thing about it is not only him, but people, and it's just like some people been doing that for years. Men been sleeping with women for years because they have brought up that religiously that's how it's supposed to be. And men have had men taking these boys and having them sleep with prostitutes because they're trying to make these boys men.
Men.
And just like the one who you played on Thug to Fool.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not the only one. We have a lot of thugs in the gay community. Look like they just, the last person you think is gay.
But see, I blame us for that. If we would just allow, if Boosie would just allow his child to be whatever his
But
child
they
is going to
can't,
be.
they can't because they are, Boosie is,
Ignorant?
no, he's
No,
not
that's-
ignorant.
that's how he was-
Boosie is only passing on to his child what was
When he
passed
learned
on
it.
to him.
What kind of dad he represents, that we need to see that from different capacities from black men, because all black men don't raise their children the same. You know, that don't mean that there's love missing or that there is time missing. He just does it a different way. But you know, I'm a fan of Boosie. When I was a girl way back, that was my time right there. But that was way back. See, I would never disrespect. Why you blushing, Boosie?
Oh, did you see the blush stuff?
Right. Lane said that's his type. He was like, oh shit. Let me get that number.
Because when I come here, I make men feel uncomfortable. Whatever you want to play, you want to play.
Joyce said he would love you on the panel. Love you, Tony.
Because you two like getting on this real estate. How do we mend the bridge between Boosie and LGBTQ? We just have to talk to each other and listen, and not listen to hear the 4 or 5 words that make you the trigger word.
Yes.
Just to respond to teach the other person. I don't think that he's out of sorts with what he says, and I don't disagree completely with what he said about Lil Nas X. But Lil Nas X is gay, so the hypocrisy would be if he was on the BET Awards and he was kissing on a woman and he's overly gay. Then people would be offended and say, well, why he kissing on that woman? Y'all know he gay. Then he goes to the DL. You cannot win for losing because everybody is all everywhere. Everybody's so displaced. What he was
So,
saying was that
so she said she don't agree. She don't disagree with him about what he said about
She
Lil
said
Nas
on
X.
everything. She said on everything.
I don't agree with him completely.
Again,
But she said I don't agree. She said I agree with him with what he said about Lil Nas X.
she says I don't agree with him about everything.
Completely.
She said completely. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
But she
No.
did-
And then
say-
she said the hypocrisy would be if he was kissing a woman.
But she did say
She
before that,
said
she did say, I
agree
do.
with him about
Run it
what
back.
he
Some
said
things. I'm gonna run
about
back. Now
Lil Nas
listen,
X.
listen.
Because when I come here, I'll make men feel uncomfortable. Whatever you want to play, men play. But that's on them. I would never push up on somebody else. But see, I'm sitting next to him. I'm not pushing up on him. Because he too likes getting on this red ass thing. How do we mend the bridge between Boosie and LGBTQ? We just have to talk to each other and listen, and not listen to hear the 4 or 5 words that make you the trigger word. You know, you listen to respond to teach the other person. I don't think that he's out of sorts with what he says, and I don't disagree completely with what he said about Lil Nas
Disagree with
X.
completely.
But Lil Nas
Said
X
disagree
is
with
gay.
completely.
That
And
means
that's
she don't
okay.
agree with something.
Yeah. She says that he's not out of sorts for what he said, and she's going to explain that further too. But she says, I wouldn't want my kids to be gay, which I don't think any parent does. It's difficult to be gay. You don't just
hard.
want your kid to be gay.
But that, I don't like that.
I would wouldn't want my child to be gay.
Okay, well, hold on. We're going to talk
No.
about it.
If I
Wait a
could-
minute.
Oh, we
Oh,
got
hold on.
Oh, we're
If
going
I
to talk
could-
about it on the
That
air.
if you had a child and your child was gay, you would have a. You,
No.
You
Listen
don't-
to what I'm saying.
you don't
Wait.
want- okay.
Listen to
Y'all,
what I'm saying.
hold on, we finna go on the air. We're
Okay.
gonna talk about it. Let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. We're finna go on the air. Here we go, y'all.
She was feeling hurt.
Right.
She's like, no, you're not telling me that.
Bust you upside your head, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, we gotta go on the air.
I felt
Let me
that.
get
I
ready.
felt that. I felt that over here. I was like, oh, you mean to tell me?
Now wait a minute.
The only thing she didn't do was wait. But it was coming.
No, this is not. This is all out of whack. Cause we just going up and we gonna shut the doors.
Can we go past 6? We might be on till 10.
Oh, y'all gonna be all right. I'm gonna be at the house.
She gonna be about herself. I'm going to do my. Going
Oh,
to
you
my
got a
thing.
show to do. I'm gonna go back home
And I gotta go walk my babies.
Right.
I
How
should
many
bring him up
babies you
here.
have?
True, I'm gonna bring him up here next time.
You're gonna be all right.
We can't bring him up here.
You do not want the colors to get put out.
I'm sure they bring their dogs to work. They
Can
always
it fit in your
do.
purse?
I wish I miss you anymore. That's your girlfriend.
So you want to start with the Bootsy thing, and then we'll go into.
Can you play that clip? How long is it?
It's 3 minutes.
Okay, let's play it.
That's a long
You
clip.
wanna do it? You wanna
Shit,
or
we been
just-
talking for a whole hour.
Legally Lil, the top. Just go to Google new top. The guy on the top.
He's got an African name, right? Like his last name is really long.
Oh, it's the black guy?
Mhm.
That's why we. Who'd they get rid of?
You know what's called?
Oh, the Osborne lady.
Yeah. It's
Well,
a
No,
lot of
the
too.
other one, the black girl that's
Black lady
biracial.
Oh.
The biracial girl. I
Yeah,
don't remember her
Because there's
name.
two guys on there now, because there's the white guy on there too, right?
Yeah, Jerry McConnell is
I
the
like you.
addition.
Did the
Well,
comedian
Club
leave
Chit
the
Chat,
Jerry-
Miss
Jerry
Sophia right here
McConnell.
on We Are You
Replace the
Radio, the
gospel.
weekend edition of We Are You Radio Talk Show with Jaquitta Williams, Pam, Jason, Patrick, Tor Merriweather, and I see, George Jacobs. Baby, we supposed to be playing music right now, but I'm telling you, they in here having hot conversation.
We sure are.
And I said, they was finna get into it off the air. I said, no, let everybody hear, because the people on YouTube, they see them going back and forth. I said,
Jaquitta had
no.
her hands around my throat.
I'm about to shake you up.
She had her hand around your throat. And George just sitting over there. I'm like, nigga, don't you see that? Yeah, but y'all come on, what started that conversation?
Okay, so we started with talking about Labootsy and the Flame
Flame Monroe.
having a conversation, Flame Monroe, and then we moved into, you said being gay was difficult and you wouldn't want your child to be a gay child, and I was like, what?
So that came from in the interview that Flame Monroe had on, was that what?
The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club with Boosie? Is that his name?
Lil Boosie.
Lil Boosie. See, I don't know him either.
Lil
but
Booty.
Lil Boosie. So she was talking about it, and she made the comment that she didn't fully, that he made some good points, basically paraphrasing, and that she didn't totally disagree with him, but she did say, she
In
went on
regards
say
to
some
Lil
other
Nas
things.
X.
In regards to Lil Nas X.
Mhm.
And later on in the interview, because Boosie said something about him not wanting his child to be gay, and Flame Monroe came back and she said, I agree with him on that too. And this Flame Monroe, for those of you who don't know, she is a transgender comedian who has children, biological children. She said, I wouldn't want my children to be gay. She said, being gay is very difficult. I wouldn't want them to have to go through the things that I went through. And I was expressing to Jaquitta and to George and Sophia here that I feel the same way. I would not want my children to be gay. It is very difficult. It's a difficult lifestyle to come up as somebody that's gay. You go through lots of emotions, changes, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if they were gay, it would matter, but that wouldn't be my hope or want or desire for them.
And
you know
I
what
think
I'm
he's
saying?
speaking from the pain that you experience growing up as a black man in the South, gay. For me, the ridicule, name calling, the wanting to the masculine, feminine assignments, the names, not really fitting in, trying to suppress who you are every day so that people don't call you these names, trying to, all of those things. That is such a painful process, especially in the black community where toxic masculinity is a thing.
And growing up is hard enough, and I will say to George that I didn't grow up like that. I was
did.
very fortunate to have a very loving, supportive family.
I was too.
My parents, my mother is, my father is, very supportive of me. So I didn't have that. I didn't really have the fears of, my family.
It was never my
It was
family.
never discussed. And even in school growing up, there were a few things here and there, but my mother told me
Where you grew
at
up?
5 years old, I grew up in Houston, Texas, mostly, Alabama, Houston,
Oh, yeah,
Texas.
that's right.
My mother told me at 5 years old, I came home from school one day, I was upset because somebody had called me a name. She said, Jason, tell them motherfuckers, your mama said, kiss your ass. Those were her exact words to me at 5 years old. So this is the type of mother that I grew up. So after years of hearing this kind of thing and this type of support from my mother, anything that anybody could have said to me really didn't matter, because people say it and still say stuff today, but it's very much like, fuck you. So do you really think I care about what you think about me?
But my thing is, I understand what you're saying about being a gay black man, but let's just say if you took the gay part off, it's still going to be hard raising and
But it's
but it makes it more difficult.
It makes it more difficult.
It's another caveat. It's something else that you have to deal with growing up. Just coming to know yourself on your own is difficult. Just as a person, as Jaquitta Williams, getting to know Jaquitta Williams and being okay with who you are, that's difficult enough. You know what I'm saying? So if you put a layer on that now you're also a lesbian, which people look at as something something's wrong with it. It's not right. It's not normal. That's difficult, especially when we grew up. Things are changing now. It's a lot more visible. It's a lot more accepted even than what it was. It's a lot more visible.
I don't know about accepted, but it's a lot more visible.
It's a lot more visible. Like, we didn't even really have it to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can think about my mother. I don't remember one gay friend that my mother had, like, that I knew of, if they were. But now, parents have gay friends. I have several friends with children. They know, I don't come up and say, hi, I'm Jason, I'm gay, but I'm who I am.
But it saddens me when you hear that somebody who is in the community would say you wouldn't want.
You know what? For me, this is my.
You wouldn't want to have to raise your child that way, but let's just say if it wasn't as difficult, if your child was gay, you would probably never say that.
I would want my child to be whoever my child is, be it gay, straight, whatever. I don't have any aspirations for who my child is as a person other than a good person.
Right.
That's all I want my child, if I were to have a child. I also, well, I'm going to move this a little bit. I also am not, I never wanted children myself. I never wanted to adopt children. I don't think that as a gay man, that's something that I need in my life. I also think that is added pressure on the child. Again, a child already having a gay parent.
Oh.
I also feel, it's difficult enough to be your own person. So to also have to go to school and explain that I have two dads, that's a whole nother.
I don't think children here. I want to go back to the first conversation, but I want to jump in that conversation. I think kids don't have all of the
hang-ups
that grown-ups have. So even when little kids the grown-ups are the people who give them those problems.
But they're going to be faced with it. Because if my child, little Jason, goes to school and his friend Gary and his parents know little Jason has two dads, if they don't like it and they say something to Gary, then Gary says something to little Jason. I don't want little Jason to have to face
But
that.
Jason has seen the positive image of his
and he may have.
And just like your mom advocated for you and said, tell them kiss your ass. If little Jason sees what his two dads are at home, even if they have something negative to say, he sees what he sees at home. And if you reinforce that, just like your mom did for you, that will happen for him. But I get what you're saying. It's going to be hard. But I think if the positive reinforcement is there from his family, from his peers, the people that are around him, I think that's going to negate.
And I agree with that. That's why I'm not against gay adoption, period. Just for myself. I would not volunteer to have a child also have to deal with that for me. Now, if I met somebody and they, I would consider it, but it's never been an aspiration of mine, never something that I felt like I needed to have, never something that I even really wanted. I also think that being a parent is the most difficult job
all of America
that anybody could ever have, and quite frankly, I don't want that pressure because I would be crazy. I would be a basket case.
I think the difference now in what's going on now with this conversation is that everything has changed, because now it's just like when we were growing up, and part of your belief is based on the way things were when we were growing up.
True.
Things are a lot different now.
Yeah.
And I even think about Hallmark. Hallmark caught a lot of flack when they put these same gender loving couples on these commercials,
Right.
and they were like, "We sorry. This is the reality that we live in.
Right.
We do have a world where kids are raised by two moms or two dads,
Right.
and if you all don't want to y'all don't want to give us your business no more because of this,
Right.
then go somewhere else.
Right.
But this is what we're gonna do."
Right.
So it's just like the embracing of the reality of
Right.
life now
Right.
is what's really helping these kids. And so it's just like, what would you rather? Would you rather these kids be tossed around in a foster program where they're going to be tossed and tossed and tossed until they're of age, and then you put them out on the street so they're growing up with nobody to love them?
Right.
Or would you rather them be put in a home of two same gender loving people?
Right.
And I can speak from experience because I have friends and I have gay kids who have adopted.
Right.
And it's just like I see, what they're doing. And it's not only what they do for the kids, but it's what the kids do for them.
Right. Right.
Because, Jaquitta in Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
she pageant world, she was doing this, she was like, but her and her husband, they just like, now this pageant stuff is over. You the one, Miss America, you the one, Miss USA, blah, blah, blah. We want a family.
Yeah.
And they adopted kids, beautiful kids. Just to see them, like the child, they playing soccer, they on volleyball, cheerleading, doing, and just to see them from, infants to growing up now. And then the same thing with my child, DeMarcus. And then it's just like with DeMarcus, I really got to see what the people went through to adopt, because they had been foster parents, because they wanted to adopt. From the very beginning, they wanted to adopt children.
Mm-hmm.
So then they had to foster these kids. So they foster these kids, and then the kids come up for adoption. Then somebody from nowhere, out of the family, the uncle, the aunt, the grandma, aunt, somebody else, they know we want them in our family, so they have to go. And so then they went through that again, and so then it's just like, somebody else comes. It's time for them to adopt. They go through that. Somebody else. So then it got to the point where the mom said, I don't want to go through that no more.
Right.
Because I'm tired of getting my hopes up, and then I get these children, I get attached to these children, then somebody comes and they want the kid. And it's not the mom, it's not the daddy.
Right.
It's some other relative that want the
Right.
kid. And then all the stuff that they have to go through to get their home inspected, and all the stuff that they have to put in place, for these kids to even come into their home. So it's just like I grew a greater respect for them because they were willing to sacrifice really their life
Right.
for
Right.
somebody else's children.
Right.
And it's just like now when you see them and the kids, growing and going to high school and blah, 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 blah. So it's just like, so it's just like this adoption stuff with these kids. I'm all for it, and then it's just like, it's different now.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
It's different because we are basically putting our opinion, going by what we were growing up.
Right.
But it's just like, it's so much going on, so much has changed now.
And it's absolutely commendable.
Because
Still not something that I want to do and
Personally, yeah,
desire to do.
that's a
And like
good
I said,
choice. I mean, that's a choice.
I do feel that it does put another source of pressure on children that I would not voluntarily do.
Right, but the thing about it is the kids, and it's just like with us, like me and you, we don't give a damn about what people say about us.
Right.
Same way with these kids.
They don't.
Because these kids,
That's
now,
my mom and my
it's just
dad.
like,
Right.
and
And
not
even
only that,
if you weren't gay, let's say you were fat
Right.
or not pretty,
Right.
the kids would still have something to say. So there's still that pressure
will
still
always be.
exists.
but now these kids growing up, baby, I ain't no girl. Who you going to prom with? Jason.
Right.
Who going to prom? Jason and Joe going to the prom.
Right.
So that's not. So it's just like,
Right.
and then it's just like, a lot has changed, and then they have more freedoms and everything. But I do believe that the more freedoms we get, we have more responsibility.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it's just like we are so free till we become careless with our responsibilities, and that hurts us.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak earlier about, because you were talking about you didn't want to have kids experience that, but I want to talk to you about my experience, and I've said this before, and I'll say it before. If I could change my life and not be gay, if there was a pill I could have taken at an early age, now I'm years old. So
How?
years old. You heard what I said the first time?
Oh.
But seriously, I would have taken a pill to change it, because the pain, the not knowing who I was, not knowing how I fit in, not knowing how to present myself, even being told when I wanted to be a singer, because that was my true desire. I was on the stage. There was several promoters there, a couple of labels, and they were sitting there. I'm trying not to cry. And the guy came up to me. He told me. He said, "We would sign you, but we need you to figure out if you're going to be a man or be a woman."
Oh wow.
And that broke me. That's why I don't like to sing in public really that often. Because I feel like people are always judging me. And I never, I didn't know anything.
Figure out whether
Yeah.
you want to be like.
That really hurt me. And even after that, that pain. If I could change that part of me and not have to deal with that pain and even remember it now, and it still affects me a lot because when I'm in certain situations, I'm like, am I doing it right? Am I sitting right? Am I talking right?
So basically, you're saying you would have wanted a different life, but because of course, if you were not gay, your life still would have had pain in it.
Degree where people constantly judge
Yeah,
you.
because
I guess they.
and this is
yes,
but wait,
have it,
I think that, and
You wouldn't have it.
maybe because I am gay, maybe I don't realize this, but I'm going to say this, and I think that people who are not gay don't understand the judgment for just solely being gay is a different type of judgment because we're not being anything other than who we are.
Right.
So to be judged, ridiculed, made feel less than, told that you're less than, told that something is wrong with you, beat up, whatever it may have been, even your own self-doubt or feelings of self-worth because of just really genuinely who you are is a very can be a very empty, lonely, sad place to be. And like I say, I was very supported, but if I were to say that I didn't have moments of questioning certain things about myself, I would be lying. Even you made the comment about you hearing me on this radio show before and how you heard a different side of me that you had never heard.
I love it.
And I even said to Joe, I said, I was able to really be, because this is just what Joe and Sophia and I do when we're together. So it's very easy for me to do it and kind of forget that I'm on the radio. And some of that speaks to what George just said. I wasn't as conscious of it, but there's a consciousness of me being too feminine, too anything, and partially because of what I have done as a profession, working in service and working in front of people and selling a product or a service or being around all types of people in very sometimes high walks of life that you feel that you have to be a certain way.
I think I liken that to just being black too.
No.
But it's black plus, because we're black and gay.
But
So you can understand in the blackness.
I understand
but then
everything you said.
Right.
Feeling ostracized, feeling like you don't know how to fit in, you don't want to be too, I can't, as a black woman who's done news for a long, I couldn't be too loud, I couldn't pop my neck or pop my lips. I had to fit into the world in which I was in, which in a lot of times I've been the only black person in a newsroom. So everything that you're saying, I have felt that. The only difference is I don't have the gay caveat, but everything that you just said and you too, I related to each and every one of those things.
So we have felt it times two, though. That's what I'm saying.
But the thing about it, the thing about it is, Jaquitta and I met because when I moved to Atlanta, because I've always been into
and
the
I
news.
remember this.
I've always been into the news. So when I moved to Dallas, and I've always been ABC. ABC has been my news channel. So when I moved to Dallas, it's ABC.
We don't got no ABC money, so I don't know who that is.
When I moved to Atlanta, I'm watching ABC, and Jaquitta comes on, and I see Jaquitta. And instantly I was like, oh my God, I like her. Because I'm always pulling for what I feel is the underdog. And when I say underdog, it's like the dog. We don't see that many dark-skinned people on the news.
My entire life.
When I saw Jaquitta, I said, oh my God, I fell in love with her. That's my girl. And then I was telling Jason about I said, oh my God, I met this woman. I love her. He said, what's her name? I said, Jaquitta. She's talking about what? I said, Jaquitta. She's like, I know she's black.
Indeed.
And then the way God works is Alvin, my son Alvin. Alvin lived over, somewhere over but anyway, Jaquitta was out. They had a fire at this across the street from this store. And then we went, because I'm working for the radio now. So then I'm on the radio and I'm, thinking I'm entertainment fish. So I'm finna go over here and stop. Come on, Alvin, let's stop. Let me see what's going on. Let's find something I can report on the radio in the morning. And then we out there, and I'm just, because it's just like we ain't had nothing to do. We just out there, so it's just like the news truck is there, and the fire truck, and all that, and they out there. So then around this truck comes Jaquitta with. So baby, you could not tell me I had not just seen Beyonce. I did not hesitate. I ran up there. I said, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm Miss Sophia M-F 103. I said, I just love you. I just love you. From that moment on, she and I, we have been the best of friends. And we have kept in contact with each other. And so it's just like.
So let me tell you something. Even that experience, even him saying, rooting for the underdog, and I understand in some way maybe being the lifestyle that you've had to lead, that's being the underdog. But I want you to understand, you're not, even though people may make you feel a certain way, it's not like I don't relate to everything that you said, even times two. Because to be a dark-skinned black woman in the world, not even my career, just in the world, there is a certain something that I'm not going to get, or a certain feeling that people have about me before I even open my mouth. My presence, standing and being in a room is a problem. Now you couple that with, I want to be on television and telling news where the majority of the people around me may be black, but they ain't this black. They're the acceptable black. I am not acceptable black. And then to take it one step further, I'm the kind where if I'm in a newsroom and I know something's wrong. Everybody in the room knows it's wrong. I'm the only one that's gonna say that ain't right. That ain't right. So then I am the black, dark-skinned troublemaker chick in this newsroom. So I'm saying all that to say, even if you had a child or the way you lived or whatever, none of us gets to skip the steps. It's always gonna be something. It's even if you were not a gay person, it would have been something, and it would have been just as hard. It is hard, I feel like, living in this life that we live. But I think all of the things that you endured, I endured, made who we are now. So that the reason why it's better is because of people like us. Black, darker skinned girls who are following me, who are following you, who are gay, can now say, I'm going to the prom with Jason. That's the reason. That's the why. So all of us we have to take on certain crosses so that the next group of people, they're going to have a cross too, but it won't be as bad or as hard. So I'm telling you, and that's why I believe as cisgender people or whatever, we have got to have an ability to connect. And even if I don't understand everything about your life, you don't understand everything about mine, there's got to be some level of grace. That I can just love you beyond it. And the stuff that we don't understand, we can agree but still love and move on.
Well, that comes back to what we talked about earlier about letting go of these conditions with our love. If I love you as a person, I love you as a person. And all that other stuff don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. If you treat me right and I treat you right, that's it. That's it.
That's it.
You know?
But and then the thing about it is, if we can get those people to come to the table honest. You be honest. And it's just like, you don't like something, you don't like it. And don't stand in here and try to dance around what you don't like, because you're in rooms with people who disagree with you. So the purpose of the thing is for us to come together so we can talk and communicate and we can get an understanding to see what it is that you don't like about this person. And then the bottom line is, it's like Grandma said, when it really comes down to the nitty gritty, what you would discover when we all sit at a table with these heterosexual, when it all comes down to the come down, you're going to realize that it wasn't me. You didn't like yourself.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
And it's just like RuPaul said, everything. How the hell you gonna love somebody else when you don't love yourself about yourself?
And that's what it is. That's what it comes down to, unfortunately, with all of this, you know. And you know, especially now, and this might start a whole nother can of worms. In today's world, social media, everything else, all these things about self-love. And I see this and I question, do we really know what self-love really means? Do we really know? Because you see all these people around that are hurting and that are hurting other people and that just really don't get it. You know, self-love isn't going to get a manicure and a pedicure. Self-love isn't going to get a massage. Self-love isn't going to get your hair done. You know, that's a part of taking care of yourself and loving yourself. But self-love is really coming to terms with all the things about yourself that only you know, and still being okay with who you are when you look at yourself in the mirror, and also being able to do that with other people. Meeting somebody who may not be like you or look like you, and still be able to love them just because they're a human being.
Or even take the time to go over to them and try to get to know them. Try to have a conversation with them. That's always been my thing. If
Yep.
something I don't understand, I'm gonna go over to you
Yep.
and
You know-
ask questions.
Yeah.
And, to the point that you're making, Will used to go with Sean.
Mhm.
He did a post yesterday, and he said, it's going to be a long post, and blah, blah, blah. So I read the entire post. And in that post, what he said was, he said, I'm a pastor, and I've been your pastor, and a lot of y'all, he said, I'm just going to be vulnerable and be honest with you right now. He said, as your pastor, he said, I just want you to know that I struggle with my image.
Huh.
He said, I look in the mirror, and he said that I looked in the mirror, and the body that I want is not the body that I have.
Uh-huh.
He said, so he just said, I want you all to know that right now, I am releasing the thought that I am going to have the body that I had when I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
He said, this is my new body.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have a shirt on. And he said, this is my new body. He said, I'm standing in this mirror, I'm letting y'all know right now, I accept my new body.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm no longer going to beat myself up because I cannot get my 22-year-old body that I have. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
wonderful,
something that
but
I
I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is you?
who the hell is y'all?
Right,
It's
right.
something a realization that I had a few years ago, and it really, and I believe this to be true for everyone. I know it is for myself. To really love yourself is the most difficult thing
It is
that you will
hard.
ever
Hard.
do in your
So
life.
hard.
It's
It's
easier for
hard.
us to love someone
Somebody
else
else.
than it is to love ourselves. Because I say, and I've said this in conversations with other people, close friends, mother, to love yourself, like I've said, even in this conversation on this, you know everything about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Even the things that nobody else knows that you would never
Mhm.
tell anybody. And sometimes those things make you think that you don't love yourself,
That's the
or that you're not
shame.
good
Yeah,
enough, or
yeah,
that you're not
shame.
worthy,
Yeah,
or that
yeah.
something is wrong with you. So when you can get past that stuff and just really be okay with yourself, when you can really still love yourself, I don't know who said it, they said, I got shit, but I'm cool. It just means I got cool shit. That's it, what, right? So that's where you really want to be. And I think that is a constant struggle that we are in as human beings. And I think the closer we can get to that, the better we will be for ourselves and for other people.
We want perfection though.
And that's
People
not
act
possible.
act like they want you to be honest, they want you to be truthful,
Mhm.
and when you do it, they don't like the way that looks or
Mhm.
smells.
Mhm.
Because people always want to talk about, oh, this positive mindset. Oh, you can be great, you can be wonderful, but nobody wants to talk about I'm depressed.
Yes.
I'm broke.
Oh,
yes.
They don't want to hear
Yes.
about
I
that.
feel
Another
ugly.
can,
I feel
because all
sad.
this manifest
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Do you think any of the bad stuff that has ever happened to me in my life, I've set up and manifested that? I've even
Mhm.
thought about it? Absolutely not. Because if it was as easy as just manifesting, I'd have been a billionaire at the age of 7.
There it is.
Okay.
There it
wow.
If
is.
it was just think about stuff and see it and manifest, I think sometimes we make things, we kind of shine things up to make it like, oh, it's so easy. Just,
And it's
don't
not.
say that. Say positive things and don't speak this and manifest. Sometimes shit don't go your way and it
Exactly.
makes you mad, sad, and depressed.
And you got to work through it.
And that's a part of life.
Yeah,
But to
yeah.
sit up here and say to yourself, ooh, I'm just not going to think, and I'm just not going to think, and I think you're doing yourself a disservice. That's not reality.
No.
You're starting to become a crazy person.
Right.
Yes.
And I kind of want you to stay away from me.
Right.
And that was a point. Y'all were talking about something earlier, and I wanted to bring that up, but my thought had just left and it came back. And part of the problem that we are dealing with is because we live in a world of reality TV.
Yes.
And people think reality TV is real.
Only the good
And
parts.
And real life
And don't
is
forget
reality.
Instagram, because
Yeah.
all them cute pictures and they
Mhm.
sitting down eating
Filters
their nail
and
on the
the-
beach and all that.
That's
They
not.
left the beach with the lights off at the house.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Reality.
And I try to be a little bit more truthful. I don't get into detail, but I don't try to, just post things that are also pie in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm a little sad.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm feeling lonely. Sometimes I'm sitting somewhere by myself listening to a sad song, as Sophia likes to say. Because that's life sometimes.
Sade.
But I
Most of my days are good days and I'm
Mhm.
happy, but there are some times when things don't go my way when I'm not.
Mhm.
And that's reality. And
That's
I would be
true.
lying if I sat up here and said that every day was
Rosy.
shiny and rosy.
So what do you say to somebody who feels like I'm going through some stuff, but I feel like everybody around me is not going to understand or they're going to judge me for speaking that?
I
What-
say talk about it because somebody will understand you, and we've all gone through something like that. Speak about it and be honest with yourself first, and then be honest about how you feel. It's okay to have a bad day, but don't have too many. You know, it's okay to have a bad week, but if it becomes a month, yeah, you might need to go talk to somebody. You know, and I'm really being serious. You know, because that's just the way life is.
But you also have to manage how and what you share.
And who
And
you
who
share it with,
you
because
share it
everybody is not capable. Like
Yeah.
I like now to use the term, you don't have the range. Not everybody has the range for your stuff, because some people's stuff are so messed up, you know, but they package it really nice. So if you share with them, they already too messed up. You share with the wrong person.
Right.
You have to find those people that you can really
The real
be
tribe.
who you are with, you know. And these two people in this room, I know I can be who I am plus some extra stuff that I don't even know yet. You know, I don't know that about you yet because we just met, but probably soon. Right? I can tell you got that same thing. But these two people here, I know because I have been there with these two people. You know, and those are the kind of people you need to surround yourself. When things are great for either one of us, we celebrate. When things are not great for either one of us, we right there with you. We right there with you to coddle you when we need to cry with you, and to give you a joke to get you up when we need to, because it's all necessary. You know, you don't always need somebody telling you it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, I know it's gonna be okay, but right now I need you to feel what I'm feeling and say, I understand, that's sad, that is really messed up.
And
And
sometimes
if we
you
need to cry together, let's do that.
to just listen.
Just listen, don't say nothing.
Just listen.
I don't need you to figure it out. I just need to say it.
Listen.
Say that again.
Just listen.
listen.
You don't have to fill up the room.
No.
You don't have to say the right words.
Yes.
No.
You just
listen.
listen. And I think, sadly enough, we are in a community where people don't listen to understand. They don't listen to hear.
They want to hurry up and try to give you the answer.
They just want to say their part.
They want to respond.
They want to respond, and I think it's really important that when I'm expressing something, when you're expressing something, I take it home and I digest that.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And if I have a follow up, I'm like, okay, I sat with it, or I feel like this is the wrong way to, like, for example, you know, it's been very much like you. It's been very hard to get adjusted to who I am too. Just like girl, like for a long time, even after I lost all my hair, people kept asking me, "What you gonna do with your hair?" And it was me that said, "I'm gonna be all right with just this right here." And you know how hard it was for me to sit and look in the mirror and look at my nappy, you know, what people would call nappy head self, and be okay with this image, because the image that I'm supposed to be is the image that I had my WSB picture, my relaxed head. That's supposed to be how I look. But then I realized that's a facade of who I am. That's part of who I am, but this is who I am. And I've realized too, sometimes when you are looking for your tribe, there are going to be people who are not going to accept any of this. There are the people who want the other you, the packaged you, the quiet you. That's not me anymore. So I am learning, and I think we all need to learn. Like you just said, get in the mirror, look at yourself, good things, bad things, ugly things, and say, I don't like the way this fat right here on my back looks, but it's mine. And I'm gonna work on trying to do something to fix it. But until such time, I'm operating in the truth of who I am, and people don't want to do that.
And see, and
it's hard work.
And the thing for me is, I'm just the same, no matter what circle I'm in. If I'm with kings and queens, or if I'm in, you know, in the ghetto or whatever, I'm the same person. And that's the thing that has helped me a lot, because I talk to you, and I think I even talked to George about it, because I think that the thing that I learned, you know, once I left V103, the thing that I learned is a lot of those people in radio and television, what really gets them in trouble is because there's so many different people. It's just like they're selling you this product, and they're selling you this product, and they're selling you this product with these endorsements and all these stuff, all these things. They're not using it. I don't go to Kroger's. I don't do, you know, I'm not driving this car. I'm not doing this product. I'm not cleaning my house with this. But because they have been programmed to sell you these products, until they get confused about what reality is and what's just for making money. And I always pride myself on, you know, like being the same person, no matter, because when I was hosting, you know, the shows and pets in the black community, and they was like, well, girl, they see me and I'm over here being this whole, you know, ghetto MC. So then when I got the opportunity to go and host Miss Gay Texas and Miss Gay USA, people like, well, what you gonna do? You get they get the same thing y'all get.
Right.
I'm not fixed it, and I think a lot of people, if you would just be yourself, 24/7.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's
It's
easy to say,
challenging.
but it's hard for
It's-
people to do.
It's
Oh,
challenging,
certainly,
but,
yes.
but
Because
it's-
you don't
it's-
want you, but most of us want to be in the group of people. Most people, but I've learned. I think Amanda Seal said this, and I'm, oh, you know what? That's who I am. When you are a thought-provoking, when you don't easily shift based on whatever people say, you are going to spend a lot of time alone.
Which is
But
why I
listen.
did one of the reasons I did not like LA, because LA, the people, the culture there in LA, to me, is very much follow what's popular.
Yes.
I've never been that person. I follow what I want to follow, what is
Yeah.
important to me, what I think, what I feel. So in that, and especially LA can be a lonely place, because if you're not following what's popular, you will find yourself not with folks, because
Mhm.
everybody's doing, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Oh, everybody goes to Malibu on July 17th. Okay, well, I don't want to go to Malibu on July 17th. I want to go over here to da-da-da and do this. So that's where I'm going to be. So
And
call me
somebody-
when y'all come back from Malibu. You know?
And I read a post somebody put up today, and they simply said, I lost a lot of friends, but in losing those friends, I found a lot of peace.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
But you know what? A lot
But
of
it
people
takes
don't want
growth
to
to get to that.
A lot of people, first of all, don't want that peace, because sometimes that peace leaves you alone with your own thoughts, and sometimes you're not happy with the person you are.
Yes.
Mhm.
So they need those friends to give them that distraction from who they really, really are. That's number one. But number two, it's really hard also to love yourself completely, flaws and all, your private thoughts, the stuff that nobody else knows about you, when the world is saying, be this.
Yes.
When
Yes.
the world is saying, be popular.
Yes.
When the world is saying, you need 3 million Instagram followers.
Right.
When the world is saying, you need to drive this car and have this bag and have this hair and have this ass and have these tits.
Mhm.
You know, when the world is saying all that, it's hard for you to shut all that out and say, I love myself,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but I really want that bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's really, really hard. So where do you go? Again, the question, how do you get to the place where you really, you can say it in the mirror, but when you walk away from that mirror and you see everything else, how do you stay there?
I think
it's
for me,
block out the noise.
and I think for me, you do that by really, when you're in the mirror, you're really in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And let's take, not as literal as being in the mirror. It can be wherever you are.
Mhm.
When you sit with yourself, and really learn and know who you are. Make decisions and what do you like? Do you really like this, or are you doing it because that's what you do? I can remember when I was in my early 30s and I was talking on the phone with my mother.
Well, you're
A
just
friend of mine-
25, right?
I am, but I was on the phone with my mother and we were talking. A friend of mine was really trying to get me to go out, and my mother had called, I think, or I had called her, and we were talking about it. And I said, such and such is trying to get me to go out, and I really don't want to go out. I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I said, I don't know if something's wrong with me or what, but I just really don't have a desire to do that. And my mother said, nothing's wrong with you, baby. She said, you should grow and evolve. You shouldn't want to do the same thing your entire life. If you don't want to go out, you don't want to go out. That's fine. You don't have to go out, and, honestly, she said, I can think about myself, when I was younger, there was a time that I went out, every weekend. I couldn't wait to go out. She said, but then eventually over the years, going out wasn't as fun anymore to where I didn't really go out. She said, that's a natural progression, and hopefully you should progress. And that's true. That's right. And if you are a person who wants to go out till you 75, that's fine too. But if you don't, that's also fine. So like I said, you have to find what works for you and who you are. And for me, I knew I didn't really want to do that because it's really not as much fun as people think it is.
It
You
never
make it to
is.
be, it's like,
you get there and it's
I
like,
know what's going to happen. And if I miss this Saturday, next Saturday, it's
It's
going to be the
gonna
same people doing the same thing.
Right,
So I'm
right,
good.
right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right.
So, and I think you really have to come to that.
But to answer your question, I think if people are listening and wondering, well, how do you really sit and be with yourself? One of the things I realized I had to do, one day I sat down and I just, either I said them out loud or I wrote them down. I can be introverted. I can be extroverted. Sometimes I'm judgmental. Sometimes I'm loving. Sometimes I think I'm attractive. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I think, golly, you ugly. Sometimes I'm like, you are not attractive. Sometimes I'm like, who's your credit? Like, all of the things, I do the pros and the cons, and that made me realize, like, and I think this is a tool that you can use. That's how you sit with yourself. You get to know yourself. So when you walk out into the world, and if you see somebody who you think is gorgeous and who has it all together, you have to remind yourself, but I'm gorgeous too. I may not be gorgeous in this moment, but I know inside I am. And there has to be a time too when you have to block out all that stuff. Like, because I realize social media, when I see people out and about, when they got the bag or whatever, I realize that's smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
people have to
Mhm.
realize that is not what you aspire to. What I aspire to is peace. Friends who I can go to and talk to and know that they accept me for who and how I am. A good meal, a good wine, quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just
Mhm.
no noise, no TV, quiet.
Mhm.
And those things, I think, when you do that enough, you'll come to yourself. There'll be a voice that'll say something to you. It's like, oh, this is who I am.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And for me, it's just like years ago I came to the conclusion that I don't just do comedy. My comedy is a ministry.
Mm.
Yep.
And
It
so
is.
Yep.
it's just like
Yep.
people, they steady coming up to me after shows and everything, and they're giving me like, I was in a dark place. I lost this person. I lost that person. Blah blah blah. Then my friends, they said, you need to come out, 'cause this person's gonna make you laugh and blah blah blah. So years ago, I realized that my my comedy is a ministry. So I spend time with myself all the time. When I'm with myself, I'm with myself. And then Jason, because I've always been a person, I don't mind going to eat by myself.
Mhm.
I don't mind going to the movies by myself.
Me either.
So I've been spending time with myself. So with me, it's just like the pandemic, it didn't bother me
Me
because
either.
I'm used to being with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason people want to be around me is because they see that I enjoy me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is, people need to learn how to just be with themselves.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people that couldn't go to the movies by themselves before the pandemic and couldn't go out to eat by themselves before the pandemic, they was going crazy
Mm-hmm.
because they were forced to stay in the house with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they had
No
no
outlet.
escape. You couldn't
Mhm.
go nowhere. But
And
it's just
partially it's because people, the society again tells you you shouldn't go eat by yourself, or you shouldn't go to the movies by
That's
because
the
you
best-
look
that's the
lonely.
best
Right, but even because
meal,
I
yeah,
even had to
yeah.
come to that, and I guess
Right.
being an only child and spending a lot of time by myself, then like things like going with somebody became like a treat. But then I went through that, and then I came to a phase where sometimes even now I do prefer to go by myself because I want to go see what I want to go see, when I want to go see it, how I want to go see it. I want to eat what I want to eat, when I want to eat it, where I want to eat. So
Mm-hmm.
because I am at a place now where I do fully enjoy being with me
Mm-hmm.
and don't feel the need to have somebody. Now, do I want company sometimes?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
But I want the right company,
Mhm.
not just some company. Because if it's the wrong company, again, I'd rather be by myself.
Yes, Lord.
I'd rather be by myself, and that comes from knowing yourself too. I also think that we went through that time frame, and we're still in it some, where self-help books and all these self-help people and motivational speakers, which no disrespect, but a little disrespect, y'all kind of get on my nerves.
A lot.
A self-help book, you can't tell me how to feel.
Can I just
I
speak
have
to
to
that?
do that on my own.
Can I
And I
just-
think some people need to stop reading these self-help books and literally help
Just help
yourself.
I'm starting to not like. Let me not say hate. I'm starting to not like every time I roll up my Instagram. Be positive. It's
Yes.
gonna be great. Hey, I
Yes.
just want to send you this positive word.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to. Stop it.
Yeah, I'm good.
First of all,
I'm good.
First of all, we all right. But it's just like everybody wants to be Mr. Positive. Let's talk about real life.
Let's talk about
And,
real life.
I love myself. I was just like you. We are so right here. I swear for God. I'm just a boy and you're just a girl.
Okay.
Or maybe some a girl sometimes. But anyway,
you are wearing pink.
And maybe I'm a boy sometimes.
see, having that whole dark skin, oh my God. In the South, oh baby, I was Black Jesus, bubblegum lip, ape lip, black hair, nappy. I was everything.
I was always, you're so pretty for a dark skin girl.
I never got that.
Oh, I always got
Yeah.
You said pretty. for a dark
I missed that. Let's rewind. But seriously, so it took me a long time to know that my skin was pretty. And
Yes, it
somebody
is.
Jana pointed out the other day, I'm always saying he's attractive, he's attractive, he's attractive. She said, you ever notice people you say attractive look like you? But you always say you're not attractive. I said, bitch, what? She said, yeah, the people you always say is attractive. Idris Elba and all these dark-skinned actors, Chestnut and Tyrese.
Mm-hmm.
He said they all dark-skinned. You always say you're not attractive. She said you see yourself attractive. You just scared to say it because other people used to say that. I was like, first of all, we're not ready for this. But it took me
Yes,
years to look in the mirror. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get it. So
And you know what else I learned by me spending time with myself? It's just like me spending time with myself, and when I'm out, I'm doing the show, or after the show, when somebody come up to me, and they telling me like, you help me in dog space and blah blah blah. That was a time when I was just trying to, okay, yeah. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Oh, thank you, baby. I'm glad I was ever. But now, me spending time with myself, and when I'm in those moments now, I am present.
Yes.
And I let those people know I see you and I hear you and
Yes.
I thank you.
Yes.
Because what you're doing is letting me know you're validating what I'm doing and that I'm on the right path.
Right.
So it's just like they come to you, telling you what you've done for them, not knowing that you coming to me is, letting me know that.
And it's so funny too, because doing what you do and doing what I've done for as long, you never know that small bit of time that probably you're like, yeah, means so much to the person who's sharing it with you.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
that little whatever exchange is what they need for the next thing.
Yeah.
And then I think most people too want to be seen and they want to be heard. So when that happens, I learned this from a politician, but I was like, it's amazing. When I am talking to somebody, nobody else is around. I don't see them, I don't hear them. I am listening to you. I'm talking to you. Now I'm only going to give you 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes is a strong. All of it's 5, and then I'll move on to the next person because people need that too. You know what I think? The other thing at some point I hope we talk about is finding. Not today, but I'm saying maybe on our next show because I think it's a good topic. I am really, really curious about finding love, heterosexually or.
We got
whatever.
10 minutes. Go ahead.
No, because I really do. I've found that living in this world the way we live in it, it has been the hardest challenge to really just find authentic people, even just to have a conversation.
Yes.
And even if I disagree with you about something, it don't mean that the relationship
Then I don't like
is
you
over.
no more.
Yeah.
It just means that we disagree.
Like you just don't call me no more. I'm just you're just done.
It
We're
just means that
done.
we
But
disagree.
it goes back to everything that you said earlier. It's about people being their authentic selves
Yes.
and being able to have a conversation and being real and being
Honest.
honest. People have learned.
Gotta come to the table honest.
Yeah, if people have learned in this society, let me send my avatar, that's what I call it, or my representative to the table. Let me say what I think you want to hear, rather than being honest and having a disagreement, and it doesn't break us up, or saying what I really feel, and not feeling that everybody's going to judge me and this is the end of my life right now.
Right.
I think that finding love at its core is having those conversations. When I met my husband, I'm just talking for a second.
Oh.
When I met my husband, we were on a cruise. We had no internet at the time. I couldn't afford
be
it.
the husband.
You will.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Anybody out there?
We had no phone. We had no internet. There was nothing. And for those 7 days, all we did was talk about our lives, where we was from, what we did, where we were.
I'm about to fall in love with y'all.
See. And 7 days is a long time without not any outside interference. We hung out with each other. We did activities, off the boat, whatever you call it. And that conversation, I was like,
we've lost that.
wow,
We don't do that no more.
And that's why I tell
Thank you,
people,
baby.
especially if I meet somebody, I tell them up front, I don't really like to text. I want to talk to you, even if it's just for a minute. Now, if we have to text, because that's what we have to do, I understand that. But I'm not about to have a text conversation. I want to talk to you. I want to hear the inflection in your voice, the tone. I want to talk. I want to see you in person, and I want to talk to you.
They think you're weird if you do that.
Yes.
She old.
Yeah.
Call me what you like. I look good. No.
and also what I do too also is, it's just like people that I see at the show that support me. When I see their mom having a birthday and their sister, somebody, or they having a birthday, and I'll just pop it in, I'll be like, happy birthday. And then if I meet this type of happy birthday, then, oh my God, I can't believe you came over here. Thank you, Miss Sophia. So it's just like people know when you genuinely like them because of the way you respond to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just all need to be more open. We need to listen more.
Listen.
What we learned today, we love ourselves. In order for us to love ourselves, we have to love others because we love ourselves. And we are what? Gonna always be what? Honest. Yes. We're gonna embrace our new, and from this point on, I am no longer gonna say I am looking for my what? High school shade.
Well, you can still look for it, but just accept that you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. I have my flag girl shade. But
Oh my
this
God.
has been so
This is
much
This is
fun.
good. This is
And
really
listen,
good.
and seriously to everybody that's listening and watching, there comes a time in life where you just have to be impromptu.
Mm.
You just got everything can be scheduled.
Yes. Yes.
This what you have witnessed today
Yes.
was this one right here calling me Wednesday or Thursday. Said I talked to that one, and he said he could come up there on Saturday, and I think that'd be a good idea. I would love to come up here on Saturday, and and can we do it this Saturday?
Well, girl, right?
Like, yeah, let's do it.
So this was just a phone call that she made, and then they already talked about it, so we're here. So it's just like sometimes it's just like you just got to learn how to just drop things, let things go, and just just go with the flow. Everything ain't got to be scheduled.
This is a great conversation,
This is,
and I hope come being here too in hopes of allowing other people who feel like me to just bridge the gap between, because we don't need to have no divide.
yeah.
We really don't.
Yeah, and I think it's also, in addition to, it's also to start other conversations
Mhm.
amongst you all watching and listening,
Mhm.
for your groups, and to challenge maybe some thoughts that you had that maybe false, and to cultivate some thoughts that you had that were true, and and to help spread the word, to talk, because that's what it's all about. That's how we grow and learn, by talking to each other and
And
talking to others
listening.
and listening.
Listening.
I saw something recently that I thought was so excellent. It said, it's funny how God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth in hopes that we would listen
More.
half as much as we talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, that is
You
awesome.
know, I love me some old quotes, honey. Baby, they say, honey. Oh, go ahead, George.
Oh no, I just want to thank you
Thank you for having
for
me.
wanting to have the conversation and being open,
Thank you.
and willing to listen, and even when you stood on and saying like, okay, I hear you.
Mhm.
I appreciate that. I wish that more people, and this is what We Are You Radio was developed for, so people could see and hear our experiences, whether it be through the music or through the conversations that we have here on the air. And you ain't finna turn this into a radio talk station, but I think it's a good idea and a good forum, because it allows. What you say?
So we have another outlet for that that's coming out. I think we're going to think of something.
Actually, I do. I'll
Okay,
say
see.
that.
Stay tuned.
But I think that these are the conversations that need to be had, and that our differences are just have more in common
Yes.
than
Our
we think.
differences are
Yes.
very small.
Yeah.
They're very small.
Because everything that you talked about, it all comes back. So hopefully that people that saw it, like Miss Sophia said, are listening and say, oh, you know what? I'm not that different from them.
And
you
I'm
know,
not alone.
I'm not exactly, and I'm okay
Yeah.
with with whatever, fat, trans, gay, straight, dark skin, light skin, whatever.
Cute.
Yeah.
You off next Saturday?
I am.
Jaquitta?
I'm here.
I work some weekend.
Oh, but you know what? I was thinking about when we were here. I wanted to bring Queen Sheba in here.
Okay.
I'm gonna call Queen Sheba. If you're not here,
Yeah, I won't be here.
I'm gonna get Queen Sheba, because she has a lot of different viewpoints of it.
And that's great. And that, and I tell you, that's why I was glad to see shows like Pose and T.S. Madison's show, and what was the other one? There was another one that was where I got a chance to really look into this world.
Legendary.
Yeah, legendary. Yes. And I think I'm glad those shows, because if it hadn't been for those shows, I wouldn't have known. I would have had to ask you, but I wouldn't have known this. I like this, and I don't think I'm alone.
So we'll see y'all next Saturday with the We Are You Radio Talk Show.
Ooh, it's hot.
George out of town, so baby, we're gonna play that one song.
So good gracious,
We're gonna just turn the mic on at 2, and then we're gonna turn them off at 6. But anyway, Miss Sophia holding it down right here. We Are You Radio. We Are You Radio with the home of the urban sound of pride. I want to let you know this is the free plug, honey. We Are You Radio Club Chit Chat is always brought to you by iCode Academy. iCode Academy. You resolved to start a new career this year, but you haven't done it yet. What are you waiting on? iCode Academy can set you on a path to a life-changing education, all online from the comfort of wherever you are. In 9 months, you could be a certified medical coding expert and earn up to $60,000 a year.
How much?
$60,000 a year.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so why don't you give iCode Academy a call at 866-553-2928. That's 866-553-2928. Or go to iCodesAcademy.org. That's iCodes with an S, academy.org. All right, Jaquitta, tell people how they can keep up with you.
I'm on Instagram at Jaquitta W and on Facebook as Jaquitta Williams.
Jason, Pam.
Jason McLaughlin on IG and Jason McLaughlin on Facebook.
Spell McLaughlin, honey, because that's the challenge.
MCGLOTHIN. That's MCGLOTHIN. MCGLOTHIN.
That sounds like a medication.
And George.
You can reach me at George Daigle, GeorgeDaigle, at on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and you can also reach our station at WERU Radio, all one word, on the same, except for Twitter.
George,
it's WERU Radio for real.
George Hewitt, are you off Saturday? Because you can come in here too, George Hewitt. You know, that's my real man. That's my real king, George Hewitt.
Okay.
Your rib king?
Yeah, he can love you some ribs.
Don't come if you ain't got no ribs, George. Just saying.
It is 6:01:19 and counting. I'm so glad we had this time together just to sing a song or share
A laugh or two.
And before you ever know it,
Cause the time for us to show it.
and we have to say to each other,
So long.
farewell, adieu, auf Wiedersehen, hasta luego, hasta la vista, buenos dias, sayonara, aha.
What George said.
That's great.
That was awesome. You guys rock.
Oh my God.
Is that still on?
Yes, all of them are still on, but they finna go off. George, get up here and cut this
How
out.
do I turn it off?
Bye, y'all. Look,
got
my
some
sister,
stuff to
how do I
say,
turn
right.
it off? I got something to say. You see the X up there in the right hand corner.
Oh, right here.
Bye, y'all.
Sophia, on the
Just
turn
hit
that
okay?
iPad around.
Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Turn that iPad around.